Thank you for joining us, and make sure to check out the audio version of this episode on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and anywhere else you get your podcast. Be on the lookout for new weekly episodes. You can find us by searching Nerditude Movie Podcast, and that'll get you where you need to go. Check out the video version, if you're into that sort of thing, on YouTube. Just search Nerditude Entertainment. Thanks for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe. Beep, bada, bada, boom. Bada, bada, boom. Beep, bada, bada, boom. I'm the Scott Man.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerditude Movie Podcast. I'm here with Matt, Alex, and myself. I'm Lewis. Alright, so today
I'm
have
Lewis?
another double feature for you guys. We have two films, Hotel Artemis and The Invisible Man. So we're going to start things off with Hotel Artemis. So this film came out in May 19th of 2018. This was directed by Drew Pearce. This has a pretty, I would say, all-star cast.
Surprisingly, on a couple of them, yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah. So just to name a few, you got Jodie Foster as Jane Thomas. She plays the nurse in the film. You have Sterling K. Brown. Wouldn't really picture him in a movie like this.
He's actually really good in it, too.
He is good. He plays Sherman. You have Sophia Boutella, who plays Nice, or Nice.
She was in The Mummy. She was the main villain. She was.
Yeah. We will briefly reference The Mummy when we talk about The Invisible Man. You also have Jeff Goldblum, who plays the Wolf King. You have Brian Tyree Henry. He's known from Paperboy, from Atlanta on FX. I don't know if you guys have seen that show. It's a pretty good show.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, so you also have Jenny Slate as Morgan Daniels. And then you have Zachary Quinto as Crosby Franklin.
And
fancy mustache.
we'll go into it, but totally not a good role for him. I'm just saying.
No, it wasn't.
No. You have another well-known guy, Charlie Day, playing Charlie Day, essentially.
Yeah.
And Dave Bautista playing Dave Bautista.
He's like Dave Bautista playing The Rock, or playing Dave Bautista impersonating The Rock. Like, I could never tell if he was Samoan or if he was Latino.
No, he was Dave Bautista playing Dave Bautista like if he was like 17 or something, because he was
what was he supposed to be? Like, he had kind of talked like this, you know? Like, I couldn't tell if he was like Samoan or Hawaiian, Pacific Island. Like, what was he?
He was trying to dumb himself down, but he couldn't figure out how to do it.
Health service professional. Sorry, Lewis, we're fucking up your intro.
I apologize.
So general kind of plot synopsis for this movie. So you have.
Can you throw one more person in there? I apologize. Can you throw in Buke? What is his name? Buke, the Kenneth Choi.
Oh, Kenneth Choi. Yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
911.
Oh, is he?
I like him.
Yeah, he's pretty. He was I can't remember what he was in that I really liked. Fudge.
He was also in Red Dawn, the remake.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen the remake.
He wasn't very good in the remake, but I just saw that the other day too. So.
Okay.
Okay,
I
look, well,
apologize for that.
he wasn't on the poster that I looked up, so I didn't list him. But yes, he is in the movie. Uh, Basic premise for this movie, you have Sterling K. Brown's character. Him and his team kind of commit a bank heist, and are forced to make their way to this Hotel Artemis. I said the name of the movie twice now. And this
We
hotel
have to make it to the Hotel Artemis.
the
Is that a
the
song?
hotel is
No.
basically a safe kind of, I don't know.
It's a criminal emergency room
It's supposed to be a
It's-
safe
it's
haven
a-
for emergency room type. Yeah.
for criminals that can't go to the actual hospital,
basically the Continental Hotel from John Wick.
but just for medical care though.
Exactly.
A lot of the same rules apply, but it's basically just Jodie Foster and a couple other people kind of saving lives of douchebags.
Exactly, and the staff they're very understaffed. But all right, so we'll
Yeah,
jump
no kidding.
into our general non-spoiler thoughts. So I did not see any. I didn't see any like trailers to this movie. I had no media buzz, nothing about it until Matt had brought it up. And
That's
I've
me.
seen the title card for this on Amazon Prime. I've passed it a couple of times, but I just never even looked at the description of the movie. And this movie to me was not what I thought it would be, but it was good. I really liked it. Some of the casting choice, which we'll get into, was a bit odd. I think another name for this movie could be Jodie Foster walks around a lot.
not only walks, but like kind of like
Hobbles. She hobbles, or
Yeah.
she speedily moves.
yeah, she's got kind of like
She kinda
the hair from Alice in Wonderland, like, oh, I'm very late for an important date, like, you know, like
What's her name from Incredibles? The black haired.
the suit designer, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, she kind of reminds
But
me
an
of her
alcoholic.
as she walks. Yeah.
An alcoholic. So another thing that I just think of off the top of my head for non-spoilers, this movie takes like 45 minutes before stuff like starts to happen, which is kind of
Yeah.
insane.
Not an action
But-
movie, but it's really like they
No,
marketed
not.
it. They marketed it because Dave Bautista's in it and he kicks people. They marketed it like an action movie, but it's really just it's a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually did see one review I kind of saw randomly for this mentioned that it was a high octane action movie, and when I got to the end of the movie, I was like, that's fucking bullshit. But
I
okay.
received
Octane?
no octanes.
Crank is a high octane movie.
Roadhouse is a high octane movie compared to this
Oh
one.
shit. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, this movie, like, there's literally one scene where it's like, let's see what happens. Everything else is really no mystery to it. It's just kind of like
and that's like with 20 minutes left in the movie. where
it's
it happens.
it's a linear movie. Like there is no like, and to its to a negative, I think there's not enough character building. Like you get a little bit with her. They delve into it a little bit. You get really nothing besides one line for Batista. I do like the movie. I really do. It's just watching it again. It's a little hollow feeling.
It wasn't enjoyable just to watch, just to get it out of the way. I don't know if that was just me.
I mean, I
So
like the movie. It's
one-
just I could see faults more the second time, I guess.
I did too. One of a couple things I really liked about this, it's a weird thing to say, but like the color palette of this movie is fucking cool. Like the stylistic, the way the hotel looks and everything like that. And
The CGI that
this
was in it
movie-
was done okay as well.
yeah, and I did forget to mention the budget. I apologize, listeners. So the budget for this movie was $15.5 million, box office 13.3. So this movie
Shit.
was very small and also failed. But like I don't know, like Matt said, like it's a very linear movie. But the characters in it, not all of them, but the characters in it are interesting enough to kind of want to keep going and see what happens. And it isn't a action movie, and obviously Dave Bautista being in it, you think it would be.
I would have
Yeah,
sat around for a half hour more of character interaction between the guests.
Yeah, it was only like
exactly.
93 minutes long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can give me way more. You like it. There was kind of a clue. Like if I almost feel like they
Yeah.
could have gone the clue route where there was mystery, but that's the problem. It didn't have any mystery. It was very much like she's gonna do this. He's this guy. He's gonna do this. Like there wasn't a whole lot of room for like.
when they introduced certain things that were happening, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that was really quick. That was like so quick. Why would they? do
Yeah,
that?
like I'm used to trying to piece together things, and the movie really just kind of lays out everything that's happening.
Threw it out at you right at the beginning, within the first 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, and it also doesn't really explain kind of the hotel like workings of it. It doesn't really. It kind of just leaves that and focuses on what's happening.
Well,
it does the same thing with the characters.
The ending when the White Wolf comes in, there's a couple lines between him and Jodie Foster that give you a little bit of backstory. I think I know what you're going to talk about, so I'm going to try to avoid talking about it.
Okay. That's all I'll say for now. Alex, I'll let you take over.
All right, so the movie wasn't, like you said, it wasn't what I expected when I started watching it. The cast, like you said, very familiar. I did like how it's supposed to be based in the future, and like this is something that
like 8 years in the future though. At this point, it's not even that far. It's like less than a decade.
Yeah, but from the from the time that it takes place, from I guess it was 2022 or something.
No, it was like it was 2030 or something. 20 or it was like 2030.
It was 2020. It was 2028. So 22 years. So it was 2006 when like it's supposed to have started, like how it got to be. But I was just like, there was the little things that was bothering me about it. Like, why didn't they use a lot of the building? The Batista character. I don't want to start that now.
All right, well then if you want, we'll just wrap up the spoiler free and we'll go into the other.
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I kind of already said it was spoiler free, so we'll just delve into it. I'm going to bounce it right back to you, Alex. Go ahead. What's in your mind?
All right, so we're not doing spoiler free, right?
No, we are now. It's spoiler. No more spoiler free. Ruin it for the masses.
All right. Now, the whole thing where what's her name? Nice.
He's pronounced Nice.
That's where it first gets started. That's where like the whole thing just
Hold on.
for me like.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you with this. The first time I'd ever heard of Nice was the video game Getaway.
Why can't I remember that?
PS2 gangsters like Snatch video game type thing, but it was good. But it was Driver. You end up going to Nice. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm not going to cut this out.
I'm not even going to Google that shit now.
Don't even do that.
It's a good game.
So anyways, she ends up like, secured phone call, calling Detroit or whatever, and it just like instead of like building up to her why she's there and what happens, it just like throws it at you like within 20 minutes, and I didn't like that too much. Throughout the whole thing, I got a couple things. Let me flip back. Did Jodie Foster to you look like fucking Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future 3, playing his daughter? Yes. Like she's like throwing her hair around.
She was a little dark brownish.
No, she
run
really
for it, Marty.
Michael J. Fox. As they introduced the characters, though, I liked it how they were throwing it out there. Fucking Wakiki, what is it? What's his name? I can't even say that now.
You call him Sherman. That's his code.
Yeah. But I'm trying to go by the names that they call him by.
Why? Nobody who is seeing this is probably watching them, so they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this anyways?" Just say the actor's name, or just that guy.
Sterling K. Brown. No, I've seen him in a bunch of things.
He was in the Predator reboot.
Yeah, he was sequel or whatever the fuck it was for like 4 episodes, where he was actually hunting the brothers in Supernatural. But there was a couple of things
that Frozen 2.
A voice. I don't.
Who cares? Let it snow. Let it snow.
Oh God, you're gonna keep doing this to me. I did enjoy like the kills of the laser scalpel when she pulled out that laser scalpel.
I did find it funny how she's like, we're going old school, and it's a fucking laser knife, and it's like, that's still new school. We don't have that. Like,
She
what do you?
also had the regular scalpels in her boot. She like threw them in, use them as.
Oh yeah, towards the end, yeah. They at least show her be a pretty big. She's pretty badass in the movie, considering.
I was getting kind of pissed off about her little line though. Don't cross this line. That was kind of being, like a little too much for me.
I already told you.
I could see Batista being the one saying that, but he had the line of "You're the stupid one." I'm gonna what? How do you say it?
I liked Batista in the movie, but like I said, I couldn't pinpoint what he was supposed to be. Like, I didn't know if they were trying to portray him as slow or like what it was. Like, his character's not really defined all that well. Except, like, you know why they call him the Mountain, don't you? It's like, yeah, because he's a big motherfucker. Like, we get it.
Was he Strax? Was he supposed to be Batista? Was he supposed to be...
He was definitely playing a character where he was like... I couldn't tell if he was trying to be like a Latino or if he was trying to be like a Hawaiian type Samoan. His accent was weird.
His accent kept changing. And you couldn't tell if he was trying to be like this slow guy, which obviously he was found when he was a kid from her, and she kind of raised him into helping her out.
I do like, he's got a couple cool like funny lines where at one point when he throws away when he throws out the guy and in the beginning who tries to get in with Sterling K. Brown, and he throws him against the wall and he's like, you see this? This is a healthcare professional. And he says that a couple times, and then like the one line where it's just kind of a throwaway line as he walks away, and he's like, "No, don't try that shit again, or I'll really fuck you up." And then he's just like,
"Well, my back again."
Yeah, like I don't know. I like Batista as an actor. He's recently taken on some shit about talking shit about like The Rock's movie roles, I think. Yeah. And it's like The Rock is in a completely different league than you, brother. Both in wrestling and movies. I'm sorry. I love you, but without James Gunn, you wouldn't have a movie career. You'd be starring in movies like Bushwick. It's the truth.
My last few things about this, and I'm gonna let somebody else. I don't know who's next, but it may be Lewis.
You're gonna toss it off to one of us.
All right. So, but my last thing is, like, as they were building it up, they were making it seem like the nurse had a drug problem when they kept showing the scenes under the boardwalk, and you couldn't tell because they showed the syringe on the ground, and they showed the body. And it kind of looked like her, but they were showing a little boy walking at first, which is her son. What is it, Bo?
The whole time it was her son, yeah.
Yeah, but like from the backside with the hair and stuff, and in a younger version, it looked like it might have been her because it was 22 years or whatever before. I thought that she had like a drug problem where she was OD'd in the water, and he found her and he took the syringe. That's what I was thinking as it was going.
I didn't get that at all from it. To be honest with you.
But that's what I was getting because she was already an alcoholic and
Well, no, you got to remember though at that point she wasn't.
Yeah, but I thought she was blaming herself because of him, dying or whatever.
Well, the whole thing is she was blaming herself that her son died.
Well, yeah, but eventually I found out that it was because she was blaming herself because he died. But I thought it was because she had an OD herself, and then he.
No, she thought he OD'd.
Yeah, but I'll let somebody else talk, and then I want to get into the Jeff Goldblum scene with her. Go ahead, Lewis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I am sure Zachary Quinto is a nice person.
He's supposed to be good in Nosferatu, which I kind of want to watch.
Yeah,
it's on Shudder.
He is, but the rest of the cast of that show makes it awful. He is just so like in any role where he has to play like
tough guy,
a tough guy, it just doesn't work. He's so weaselly, and that fucking mustache doesn't help.
Wasn't he the bad guy in Heroes, and then they started shifting his character where he eventually becomes one of the good guys?
They had an alternate timeline where he became a good guy.
Okay.
He doesn't. I don't know. He really can't sell that role. Another problem I had with this movie, and I
He was
love
good as Spock.
Charlie Day, but Charlie Day is not a good actor.
I don't think he's bad, but this character was stupid. I mean, the character was just a bad character.
I liked him in Pacific Rim.
Could have removed his character from this movie, and it just wouldn't have changed.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
But I don't know they don't really go too much into one thing that kind of irked me is they don't really go too much into Sterling K. Brown's character, and they kind of introduce him and his brother as kind of the leads for this film, and then you can kind of go through and they're technically not really.
The only lead is Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
she's really the only lead character.
If you think about it, this movie is a really weird role for her, of all people.
It's a weird, and I'll go into my time. It's a weird put together movie.
It's a weird panic room, reverse panic room for her.
I feel like this movie would have been, sorry, Lewis, you go ahead.
No. Yeah, I don't want to get too far in the movie, so I'll throw it to you because I do have some thoughts about the Jeff Goldblum scene as well.
I feel like this movie would have been much greater as a series, where they could take an episode for this character and an episode for this character. Because the thing about it is they lay out for a 90-minute movie, they lay out way too much. Like they literally go in. So the deeper overview of the beginning of the movie is it's a hotel for criminals. The movie starts with Sterling K. Brown, his brother, and then the other guy robbing a bank, stealing a pen, or they think it's a pen, from this guy who looks at him and is like, "You don't want to do that, man." And he's like, "Oh, I think I do." And they get into a shootout with the police. They both get plugged. His brother's pretty fucked up. He's injured. They go to the Hotel Artemis, which is once again like the Continental. It's an underground hospital that Jodie Foster runs. She runs it by herself practically with the help of Batista. And then you meet all these characters, and they force you to meet them. Charlie Day, you're forced to meet, and he's just kind of a piece of shit gun dealer. He thinks he's rich, so he thinks he's the best. One thing we haven't mentioned is the entire reason shit's kind of going crazy, and I don't know how neither one of you have mentioned this. There's a fucking riot going on.
Oh, yeah.
For water.
LA is burning to the ground because a private company has privatized water, and the citizens are uprising. So as all this shit's going down, it's almost like a time clock. This riot is getting closer and closer to the Hotel Artemis. Jenny Slate is useless, doesn't belong in the movie, don't understand why she's there. She's literally there to be a device for Jodie Foster to remember her son. The only thing. But they do a good enough job humanizing her. She's an alcoholic. She's tortured about her her son dying in the past.
But they don't connect it. See,
they didn't connect it with Jenny Slate well either. Like that was such a shoehorn. Like I think I know her. Who gives a fuck? Like
she was my neighbor.
Like exactly. You know what I mean? Like she. And that's the whole thing and they use her as the reason for Jodie Foster to break the rules for the first time in 20-something years. They just front load a lot of shit to where I think if it was a TV show, there could have been more focus on story and character, and you could have built tension over time. But by the time the movie ends, you're like, okay. Like, you want to watch another movie? That was quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but Alex has some shite to talk about towards the end, so let's move on over to the end of the movie unless anybody's got anything else to say about the beginning.
No, I mean, to piggyback on what you said, like even for the water privatization, like that doesn't even factor into most of the film. It's kind of like it's sort of at the beginning.
I missed that part the entire movie.
Did you really?
And it's right at the end. So it feels like kind of a bunch of different pieces were put together to make this movie that don't really coalesce.
It's like, well, this character's cool. This character's cool. Let's throw them together.
I didn't even know there was something about water.
Mm-hmm, that's the whole reason there's a riot.
Ironically, still in the end, like I don't think this was a bad movie. Like
no, here's the thing: is if you can take it as, and we talk so much about brain-dead action movies where you shut off your brain and you just watch the explosions. This is a brain-dead dramedy.
Yeah.
Where you're not supposed to think, you're not supposed to put pieces together. They don't want to give you too much character background, so don't even fucking worry about it. Just watch it, you little sheep, and enjoy this 90 minutes of movies, and then go watch another movie that'll fulfill your need for entertainment. This is good, but it's the junk food of movies.
Yeah, of drama movies.
Yeah. Alex, Lewis, were you done on that one?
Yeah, I'll let Alex take over.
Alejandro, tell me about Mr. Goldblum.
So he gets introduced where he's injured and he's got to get in there and his
the White Wolf.
Yeah, the White Wolf.
His son is Crosby, and he's
that's Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, he's a complete dick on the phone. He's a complete dick
spoiled little child.
And just to start off like that, and then finally they finally get him there. They tell him that they tell her that she has to keep an empty bed, and she's not going to do it. If it gets filled, it gets filled. Blah blah blah. So, anyways, when they get there, he's still being a dick, and the dad is like in the background. They don't show him. They only show his feet. They show him, wearing sandals without socks, which is probably smelly like a motherfucker.
Probably how Goldblum lives his life, though. I don't have time for socks. He's actually a very well-dressed man.
He is, probably, yeah.
Probably.
But
Probably.
Probably. I don't know.
I cannot confirm. Probably.
Can I confirm or deny?
75% chance.
No, but the thing is, when you hear his voice and you hear him, you're like, okay, I know that voice. And then they finally show who he is, and he's got like some kind of wound on his neck, blah blah blah. So she tells him to scan in, and she can only take one in, and because the other people you have to have like a membership to get into this place.
It's literally embedded into your fucking wrist.
Yeah, so you got to get into the place. So after they get him in, and they get him to a room, and she's working on him, there's like some kind of conversation that goes on between him and her. I don't know, maybe I fell asleep for 30 fucking seconds or whatever. Why did she start interrogating him about her son?
Hold on. I know what you're talking about. I'll answer that for you, but say whatever else you wanted to say before that, and I'll answer it for you.
Well, that's where I'm fucking lost at.
Okay.
That is my thing.
So this makes sense because you were
fucking long did I fall asleep?
This is how you were completely lost in the beginning, thinking she was the one that OD'd. So so the whole movie they allude to the fact that her son OD'd. And now you got to remember, at this point, she was your average entitled medical doctor who was rich, blah, blah, blah. So this would have been her rich little kid dying. So her whole life, and that's the whole reason she becomes an alcoholic. She loses her medical license, meets Jeff Goldblum because she can't do medicine anymore legally. She opens up the Hotel Artemis. He funds it and says, basically, I'm a criminal. I need somewhere where I can get healed up off the books. That's how Hotel Artemis is brought up. So while he's drugged, she asks him a question, and he says her son's name, and she's like, how did you know my son's name? The whole thing is he says her name, and he is supposed to never have met the son. Now, throughout the movie, everybody who talks about, you know what happens when you steal from him, what he does, right? Because about the pen. Well, comes to find out, he says the line where when you steal from him, you get sent back to the ocean, so they drowned you. So what actually, and then he says the line of like, it's actually destiny, it's how we were brought together because he's drugged. Admits fully that he had her son drowned because he stole his car.
Yeah.
And that's why she starts interrogating him, because he says her son's name, and he wasn't even supposed to know the son's name.
I might have had a little lapse in my little thing where
I feel like you got to figure out how to focus on movies, man. It's just
what I had.
Put the cell phone down. Don't look at the cell phone while you're watching the movie.
No.
Like maybe sit in that room, watch it on the laptop. Don't let anybody, because you're having a hard. Like last time, you're unediting movies that are edited. This time you're hallucinating through facts. Like, you gotta start focusing. Focus!
Hey. Let's be nice.
So
am
I
nice.
will agree
Ish.
with Alex that scene where they're kind of having that conversation where the White Wolf, that's fucking The Witcher, wrong series, where Jeff Goldblum's character is kind of going in and out. That scene is very like subtle. That if you like don't catch,
It should have been a half-hour episode. It's on its own, of her
Yeah.
interrogating him while he's drugged out. Like a half hour. If the show is 45 minutes an episode, that should have been a half hour of it. But they gave it like 90 seconds.
I'm also not that person that thinks that everything should be a TV series, but like this movie
Me
had so
either.
many interesting characters.
Yeah.
And the hotel and what was going on, that I really think it would have been awesome if this was a TV show.
Well, because
When you have a cast that big,
yeah, well, not only that, but
Yeah.
with that much star power and talent. Like, here's my thought on it: rather than doing it where you show just, like, what I would do is I would show the very last seconds of how they all got there in the first episode. So you show the bank robbery scene, you show why Nice is there, you show why Charlie's Day's there, which they didn't do. They basically just said he was trying to rape a girl, is essentially what was happening. Is he was trying to rape a girl, and she scratched him up so bad, she temporarily blinded him in his eye a little bit.
stabbed in the back, and then he got strapped in the
So
face.
what they should have done is introduced everybody, had them all be guests at the hotel. The last scene of the first episode is everything pans out, and then each episode until you finish the characters is the events leading up to them going to the hotel. So for Sterling K. Brown, the last week they're planning the bank robbery. For Nice, the last, the yesterday, how she got the bullet wound. Because she comes in with a bullet wound to the arm. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they could have fleshed it out and made a pretty intriguing TV show. But the problem is that, even if they would have made a 2 hour and 15 long minute movie, I'd have felt way more satisfied. I didn't feel like they gave enough. There's so many good characters, there's good actors. The Goldblum dynamic is literally, the whole movie builds up to it. And it's like, yeah, I killed your son, and you're supposed to save me, and my son, if I die, is going to take over, and who do you think's funding or running this place after that? So her basic choice is either keep him alive or deal with the asshole son, who will for sure try to kill her because he's stupid, or at least make her life a living hell.
What I thought was kind of dumb was the ring that he gives to Zachary Quinto.
Being the explosive device?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Oh no!
What happened to Matt?
Hold on.
Matt.
That's a sneak peek of the Invisible Man.
All right.
Where were we?
Something about a ring.
All right, so we'll cut back. I'll do the 3, 2, 1. You were talking about
One ring ruled
his
them all.
ring was explosive. Blah blah blah. So, 3, 2, 1. I don't even know who was going. To be honest with you.
The thing that threw me off is the ring that Jeff Goldblum gives to Zachary Quinto, that in the beginning of the movie makes it seem like it's something amazing, like maybe
His lineage.
his lineage,
It's gonna bring him to his new power.
or having to do with the pen that Sterling K. Brown's brother takes.
That's
but
the
it
other
turns
thing.
out-
Is that's a big deal only to Sterling K. Brown. Like, Jeff Goldblum doesn't know it's missing. He doesn't give 2 fucks it's gone right now because he's trying not to die. So there's really no reason for them to have to leave, because the guy that they steal the pen from in the bank isn't even part of the crew that comes into the hospital.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really, and he's all panicky and everything, and there's no reason to be, because nobody's hot on his tail. Nobody knows you've even taken it. You can be out tomorrow morning and be fine. And instead, it's like his main storyline is, gotta get the fuck out of here or they're gonna kill us. It's like they don't know you took it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why when you see that ring and the camera pans on it, in my head I was like, oh, that's gonna connect to the pen or something, and then it turns out it's a little sticky bomb, and it's like, oh, okay, that was kind of.
And it doesn't even do a good job.
Well, and not only that, but there's like the one little line that justifies it, where Goldblum's like, when the time comes, let's hope you know what you're doing. And it's like, that literally was your signal for blow up the gate, if I'm not, like...
or the wall that they used fucking something.
Yeah, like...
If he would have put on the wall, he would have been inside a lot quicker.
Yeah, you blow up the gate and it doesn't do shit. The reinforced carbide gate, but the concrete, you're like, get the chisels, villagers! Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
What else? Lewis, you got anything else on it?
Not really. I mean, it wasn't... Again, the movie was not what I expected it would be, but I did enjoy it. Like I said, I wish we got to get more of the characters.
More of everything. More of everything.
Yeah, more of everything.
It was an enjoyable movie as far as just getting into getting through a movie, but yeah.
And to be fair, Jodie Foster, I thought, was kind of as far as acting goes, the highlight of it. She's really the only one that has emotion in the movie. It kind of felt like Sterling K. Brown is sad because of his brother, but meh. You know, the chick is an assassin, so meh. Charlie Day is a piece of shit rapist, so meh. Like, the only one that had a soul in the movie was her and Batista. And I will say this, I really did like their relationship. I liked the fact that, you know, she would go from, like, basically, like, you know, move your fat ass to, like, I know, babe, like, you know, kind of like she's treating him like her kid. I really found his line of dialogue funny when she said, move your fat ass. Yeah, I've been on a diet for 3 months. I'm not a fat ass. Like, as he's fixing the electrical. I feel like Batista had the best one-liners. He had several that were legitimately, like, chuckle-worthy. Like, they're not laugh out loud, but they're funny. I also really like the scene where he's fixing the power and the helicopter gets blown out of the sky. I just thought it was a cool, like, the whole way it was filmed, how he kind of, like, it blows up and he's, like, kind of looks over at it, and it reinforces the idea that there's some serious shit going down.
It's one of these days today, huh?
Yeah, healthcare professional.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, and then...
I like how he said that. It goes both ways.
Goes both ways.
But he sounded so much like he was Hawaiian when he said it.
I couldn't. And then some scenes he sounded like he was trying to do like a Chicano type thing, like, you know, from like the mean streets of LA. So yeah, I couldn't tell what he was.
They are in LA, so.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's why they covered up some of his tattoos, because if he was supposed to be Chicano and not like Samoan, he's got tribal and shit on his body and weird Japanese shit. So.
He's Filipino, so.
Oh, so that's what we explain the Asian writing and everything. So like, you know, you never see him really. I will give him that much. There's not like a scene where he like Incredible Hulks out. Like even when he takes on all the guys, he's using the axe to fight them. Like he's not trying to be Superman.
You know, I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
Oh, good. Oh, the whole movie, I just kept like thinking like, when am I gonna see the scene where Dave Bautista just fucking murders?
And it never comes. Like he gets a few of them. He gets a few of them.
He gets the axe, and they don't really show what he does with the axe. They don't show. And then
Nice gets the badass scene.
Was it a PG-13? I don't know.
No, it's rated R. There was language for minimum.
There was very little blood splatter on him when he was like hacking people coming through that.
Like I said, it feels like a movie where like the director didn't want to make an action movie, and they cast Batista, and they were like, you need to do a couple action scenes to justify Batista, and they were like, let's throw it in. Fine, fuck it.
Here's the other thing too: is when they were doing the scenes of walking by the gate, the entrance. There was a couple times where they pass it, but they don't pass it. Like I was really confused. Like they had to walk by it, but they never went past it. But they went to a little spot that was supposed to be further than the measurements of how people were walking back and forth.
Within the hotel or outside?
Yeah, well, just by the area of the front gate, where the Wolf's son is at. What's his name? Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
Where he's at. Like he's sitting there looking, and then what's his name? Oh God, what'd you call him? Sam or something?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown's character. He tells him, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, pay attention to the details. Your boots, it shows that you're a cop.
Yeah, when Batista's about to walk past him.
So he's about to walk past her, and he keeps walking, but then he turns to the side and pushes the button. But that spot was actually past it. Like, I don't know. To me, it just didn't measure up.
It could have been coming from a different direction in the hallway entirely.
Well, well...
Because it's on the left side. If you're looking at the gate from dead on, where he would have come from would have been the left side, and the door was before it, so...
Well, the other thing, too, is why was Sherman fucking searching the whole damn fucking building? Why was he the Inquisitor, of the Hotel Artemis?
Well, I think that was the whole thing, is he's, like, basically the groundskeeper. So, like, he's not necessarily there to be a medical assistant. She's got robots that do all the fucking work. He's there as, like, the groundskeeper / security. So, like...
Wait, we're not talking about Batista. We're talking about Sherman.
Sherman?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, use the actors' names, man.
Well,
I don't...
We called him
how
Sherman?
the fuck... No, Sterling K. Brown. I don't know what the character's name is. Like, it's a 93-minute movie. I didn't get that invested.
Anywho,
like,
why was he so inquisitive about how shit was running when he knows he's not supposed to be doing that kind of stuff?
Because he's an idiot.
Like, what made him do that? Why did he go look for the little button? Why did he try to open up the gate?
I guess he figured he was finally going to be done with the life. I don't know.
It could also be because he knew as soon as he took the pen from his brother.
He was trying to map out a way to get it out. Okay.
But one thing that did stick out to me, so Sterling's character gets into a fight with the actress who plays the niece, and ends up getting shot, I think, in the back, and that's when the nurse comes in and asks if he's okay, and he turns around and he's like, "Yeah, it's Kevlar," but his brother got lit up earlier in the movie and was not wearing Kevlar, and they were doing a fucking bank heist.
Well, wasn't it supposed to be built into the new suits?
That's because his character is more into keeping safe, where his brother was a off the rail type of guy.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you, as his brother, make sure he had body armor? Like, as the older brother, why wouldn't you be like you're gonna go rob a bank and you're heavily armored to the point where you take 3 to the back and and it just tickles you, but your brother literally gets shot a few times and his liver's completely fucked and he dies in the movie. We'll just spoiler alert: the brother fucking dies.
It's like Bank Heist 101 when you leave the house and you're like, do I got my wallet? Do I got my keys? Do I got my Kevlar?
Yeah. Wallet, keys, Kevlar, Uzi. Like, the dude from GTA 5 had more of a plan than they did.
He already knows his relationship with his brother is compromising his whole life, to move forward. So that's the thing where he's going to take care of himself, but he's also going to be there for his brother to help him out, but he's not going to tell him how to live his life.
See, that's stupid. Your brother's all right, so I'm sorry, but your brother's an addict, and you do nothing about it. Like, literally, Jodie Foster has to point it out to you that your brother is still an addict. You're just like, he told me he quit. Yeah, because addicts tell the truth all the time about their drug use. Like, why didn't...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Once again, this is one of those things where, like, TV show would have been nicer.
Yeah.
Like, it's... I don't know. I feel like the brother was more useless than Charlie Day. Like, the brother... The only reason the brother exists is so he can die and get the character into a trouble, basically.
To build up his character, because he's the... Spoiler, the survivor.
Yeah, his struggle is his brother. Well, Jodie Foster, spoiler alert, does survive. That one thing we haven't mentioned, I don't know why we're missing so many things. Her anxiety fear, and she hasn't. Not only has she run this place for 20-something years, she hasn't left it for 20-something years.
Yeah, is that agoraphobic? What is that considered?
Technically, well, yeah, agoraphobic is the fear of the outside, right?
Yeah. So that's what she has. Agoraphobia.
And there's some cute banter between her and Batista about did you use your anxiety tape? I got you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, I would take 2 episodes about just those two in a TV show, because their relationship really is it's the most endearing thing in the movie.
That's the other thing he says when he's on the roof, when he sees a helicopter crash or gets blown out of the sky and crash in the building. He goes, "Now I see why she doesn't like to go outside."
Yeah. Like, he really has and I like Batista, but I just don't like his like mouth on the outside world. It's like,
Yeah.
you really you need to know your status, and your status is you were a muscle guy who got cast in a movie. You did the character very well, and it was very successful. But frankly, outside of that, you haven't done. Like, you were a Bond villain for 2 minutes of movie. Basically, like, know your role, know who you are. You're great at what you do, but I would personally like to see him in more roles like this, where it's just like more indie roles, where you're not so much thinking like, when does Dave Bautista punch a hole in the wall? You're kind of trying to be like, oh, he's a pretty good actor. I mean, that's what happened with The Rock.
Guardians of the Galaxy money, though. No?
The Rock literally had The Rundown, which was great, and then post WWE, when he got smaller muscularly and did the Tooth Fairy and that football movie, like he had a decent starting, which was Mummy 2 and then the Scorpion King, and then The Rundown, fell on his ass and then came back. I can't remember what movie really brought him back as mainstream.
I really did like The Rundown, though.
Rundown's a great movie. Peter Berg's a great director.
It would be nice if we watched that one day.
Is The Rundown where he breaks the guy's tail light? The movie?
No, that's Walking Tall, but that movie is good too.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Yeah, he was good in that one too. Yes.
Yeah.
I did like that.
See, that's the thing, is he had like a couple really shitty ones, but his career is pretty good when you think about what movies he's been in. Like, people were pissed because he replaced Channing Tatum in the G.I. Joe movie, but you know, like, I know Vin Diesel probably hates his guts, but I thought he was great in Fast 5 is my favorite Fast and the Furious movie.
I stopped watching those Fast movies.
Dude, Fast 5 is better than any of them because it is a legit heist movie with one of the coolest car chases. They literally tow a vault out of a police station, and when they filmed it, they had a mini car built. And the vault, you see it in the movie bouncing around and hitting objects. There's a person in there controlling the fucking thing.
The vault?
Like, the way they filmed it, dude, is insane. And it's my favorite Fast and Furious movie. But anyways, yeah, you know, it's... Then, of course, the ending, Jodie Foster kind of like... I didn't fully... And I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't fully understand something. But I didn't understand the ending. Was she leaving the hotel for greener pastures, or was she going to try to heal the injured on the streets?
Yeah. Was she going to heal the rioters now, or was she going to heal...
I didn't know. She just kind of walks off into the smoke.
After 22 years, is she going to try... Yeah, go ahead.
On top of that, there's a mid-credits scene. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I didn't watch it. What is it?
Yeah.
It's like a... It's like a silhouette shot, and you see, I believe it's Niece's character kind of runs past the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, so she survived.
Why. Yeah, but it's just like, it wasn't, like, it doesn't make any sense.
You know what?
It just wasn't that.
One of my things was going to be they let you presume she's dead. Because she fights those guys, and then there's like 6 more that pop up. And one of the things I was going to bring up was I didn't know if she survived or not, because I didn't see that mid-credit scene. So that at least does give closure to her character that she's not dead.
Yeah, they show somebody running by, and I thought it looked like Charlie Day's character. I don't know. But anyways, I thought he got up from after getting... well, we didn't mention how he got killed, by the way.
Yeah, he's very much dead.
Yeah,
He got 3D printed.
He got 3D printed with a something in... what is it, a card? It was supposed to be like a spade card.
I don't remember what... the last thing he had done was the gun, I thought.
No, but didn't they put like a spade, the spade card in the thing, and then he slammed it down on his head?
I honestly don't know what it was supposed to be that it was making. It made him dead real fucking fast, though.
It looked like he was supposed to be printing a card inside his brain, whatever. Anyway,
I didn't like complete like. I think the problem with Charlie Day's character is you're not meant to like him at all. Like, literally, he's introduced where he's running his mouth at her, and what about the eyesight? And she's like, you're going to be, kind of blind. He's like, well, what do I pay you for? Why can't I? And she's like, judging by the nail polish inside your flesh I pulled out of you. So it's literally like you were raping someone, and she literally scratched your eye out. I don't like you as a character. Why are you here? Like, they didn't give him any justification, literally, and this is the problem with this movie, as I'm starting to realize this as we talk about it, is they only have characters to justify actions by other characters. The only reason Charlie Day is a character is so Sterling K. Brown can kill him. The only reason that Niece is a character is because she's the one that actually attacked Jeff Goldblum in the beginning of the movie, that sends him to the hospital in the first place, because she knows that he'll go there and she can finish the job, which of course she eventually does. And that's the problem, is Sterling K. Brown's brother is only there to be the catalyst for him moving on in his life. But none of that is done for Jodie Foster. Her character's left out in the dust. Who's there for her justification?
Morgan.
Yeah, the character that they make such a fuss about, and then just bye-bye.
And then you don't see her after she gets...
Presumably she gets raped and murdered by the rioters. You don't know. Like, that. Why was she in the movie? Like, there's no reason for that character to exist, because she only exists to bring back memories of her dead son. This movie sucks, I think. I can't believe this.
And they don't even say if she's like the same age as her son, and like what she would be the same age. Like, yeah, yes.
I like this movie, and I'm now kind of like, does it suck? I literally, as we talk about it,
our show essentially talks you out of your favorite.
Oh my god! Like when I watched it, I recommended it, and then I watched it the second time, and I was like, "There's some issues." And now we're talking about it. I'm like, do I dislike this more than The Invisible Man now?
The more we talk about things, the more it starts to fall.
I mean, here's the thing. Once again, if you can, it's junk food in the drama category. You can't think about these things, otherwise it's a shit movie. If you go into it let me just watch this quick 90-minute movie. Like, I feel like I've had bowel movements that were longer than this movie. It just like that, it goes by.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about the bowel movies.
On that note, are there any final thoughts on this movie, or do we want to give it some ratings?
Yeah, we can go ahead. Lewis, why don't you start us off? How many delicious hot dogs, Chicago dogs specifically? I actually tried to get little Chicago dog images into the film, like 3 for me and 4 for you, and whatever you review it. And there was just so many fucking layers on the actual video. Like, there would have been 8 channels it would have been the channels to edit the video, and then 15 separate image channels for each of the hot dogs if we reviewed it all 5 stars. And it would have taken me time to put it. Fuck that! I wasn't doing it.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
So,
not gonna do
it. This movie wasn't amazing. I still like it. It's very linear. It's weird. It's disjointed. Would have been better as a series, but I think this is a solid 3 wieners out of 5.
Yes. Alex.
What about you, Alex?
I'm not gonna go into all this detailed sayings that you were just doing. I'm gonna say 2.5. 2.5. I have a problem with, I don't know, Jodie Foster looking like Michael J. Fox. I don't know. but I did enjoy the movie though. I'm gonna be honest. I did like it. There was little things that just made me still question after it was done. 2.5.
I'm gonna give it 3 hot dogs. I'm gonna give it 3 Chicago dogs. Why? Because there's a place by my house. For $6, you get 3 hot dogs and fries, and I feel like this movie's worth $6. They're not the greatest hot dogs, but they fill you up, they get you through to your next meal, and that's what this movie is. It's junk food for the drama category. Thank you. 3 hot dogs out of 5 on this one for me. I like it. Watching it again, there are some things, some major underdevelopments that I wish they could have done. I mean, hell, there's potential to do a sequel, that connects directly to it if you want to, but
especially if you didn't see the endings, the end credits.
Yeah, I'll go back tonight. I mean, it's probably gonna change my mind, not at all, but it'll at least give me some conclusion to her character. But yeah, no, 3 out of 5. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just kind of a quick little movie, a little bite of a movie. All right, so you all, Lewis, you're all good with that? Any more wrap-up thoughts on Hotel Artemis?
No, that is it. Watch it. Definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's just
Fun to watch.
it's one of those movies where if you look over and your wife's on her cell phone, it's kind of like, I get it a little bit. Like, okay, you're not interested, but yeah. So,
All right, so on to our second movie, guys. So this one is titled The Invisible Man. This this came out this year, February 28th.
and it's already on HBO. That should fucking tell you something.
So
Next.
this movie comes with a lot of baggage that we will get into. But let me just kind of get the intro out. So 124 minutes. This movie feels a lot longer than it is. You're looking at a budget of $7 million.
That's a lot of
Interestingly
pesos.
enough, if you're listening to this in the future, this movie came out during a pandemic. It was released in theaters, then immediately went to premium video on demand, and surprisingly made $134.9 million,
Wow,
Really?
that's a
Holy
pretty
shit.
good
which
take
is
considering.
insane.
Wait, how much did you say the budget was?
Budget was $7 million.
That's it?
Yeah.
So, all right, so
Wow.
now that I know that, I have to give it credit. Put that into perspective that Mayhem was 6-point-something million. Or no, Mayhem was 2-something, and then Ready or Not was 6-point-something million. So,
Yes.
with that said, it's going to sway me a little, but please go on.
All right. So this
How much did they
film,
make?
A lot.
it made
like
134.9 million.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And you got to figure a movie needs to make at least double its budgets when you factor in marketing. So this movie made it tenfold.
Oh,
So this was directed by Lee Whannell, who if
Leigh
that name sounds familiar-
Whannell.
Yeah. He
You ain't
helped,
French?
he helped the Saw movies with James Wan. He also played Specs in the Insidious films. He's very much invested in horror culture. He also did Upgrade, which came out in 2018. I don't know if you two have seen
Upgrade is really good. He was also one of the characters in Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we'll probably bring up Kevin Bacon a little later. So to
Yeah.
jump into some interesting facts about this movie, this film started out as a part of the Dark Universe. It's obviously based off of the H.G. Wells character, the Invisible Man, which is
Bullshit.
now part of which is now part of Universal's kind of carousel of monsters that are classic. However, they're trying to bring back. Now, this movie kind of was in development hell. I mean, it originally plans for this movie started in 2006. It was going to be done by David S. Goyer. The project just kind of got pushed along. Eventually, in 2016, when the Universal Dark Universe started to kind of make way and actors were picked for their movies, Johnny Depp was obviously cast as the character that was going to portray the Invisible Man. That fell through, which then Blumhouse came along.
Of course they did.
Yes, Blumhouse.
course
5%
Blumhouse.
of their movies they've made are good. The rest are all shovelware. So yeah, this movie had an interesting path to kind of get to where it is. It's obviously produced by Universal and Blumhouse. You're looking at a small cast for this film. So you have Elizabeth Moss, who plays the main character, Cecilia Cass.
Favorite actress and all.
Yeah, Matt's favorite actress. Aldous Hodge as James Lanier. He plays detective, friend of Elizabeth Moss' character, Cecilia. You have Storm Reed as Cecilia Laner. You have Harriet Dyer as Emily Cass, Cecilia's sister. Michael Dorman as Tom Griffin, who plays the villain's brother, Adrian, and then Oliver Jackson Cohen as Adrian Griffin. So obviously the plot to this movie is if you follow the original film, guy gets the ability to go invisible, and that's where it takes a different.
Yeah, and then they just took a shit all over it.
Yeah, so again, this movie has a lot of baggage. I think we'll keep it short and sweet with our initial impressions, and then we can kind of dissect it.
No. Spoiler free.
I think all three of us have.
Can I make one thing? Here.
Sure.
I don't know if you could read it.
My wife, blah.
The Spotify listeners cannot tell what that
He's got a hand. I can only assume that his child has drawn this up for him. It says my wife, blah. I think is what her sentiment of the movie was. Okay.
She said the movie, blah. That says a lot about my wife, first of all.
So I get. So are we just jumping straight in, guys?
Yeah, I might as well, because you know what? I mean, I don't know if I could. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I could just give first impressions. It's basically gonna be like when you've gone to the flat top and you got the Filipino sausage, and you're in the car ride. You're in the car ride on the way home. Don't worry, you got the tortilla. It's delicious, but you're in the car ride on the way home, and you feel the bubble. There's a bubble, and then you understand that once you start this a train, you cannot stop this train. So,
first of all,
say everything you'd like to say.
If you got tortilla and you have Filipino sausage, that's not the right stuff.
You've never been to Flat Top. You shush.
No.
So
I never be combined. Go ahead.
I would say this because we're going to go into spoilers. Obviously, if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. However, there are two versions of this movie that you'll see and essentially form an opinion. One is if you watch the trailer and you watch this movie, it's not a good movie. If you don't watch the trailer and you watch this movie, you may like it.
I like what you, because I thought you were going to say it's a good movie, and I was going to chime in. I was loaded and ready.
Because if you in just from my perspective, I did not see any trailers for this movie when it came out.
I don't think I did either. I mean, maybe one in passing, but
yeah, I didn't see one either.
I watched the movie twice and watched the trailer after the second viewing, and it made me mad for the alternate universe version of me that would have seen this movie because it just
with actual expectations.
But so we're gonna jump into spoilers. I just want to say the coolest thing in this movie is at the very beginning, and I don't know why it's there. The opening credit scenes with the water.
Oh yeah, they were pretty cool.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like $3 million of their budget, they're like, dude, let's make the coolest opening scene, because it felt really cool, and then you go into the rest of the movie, you're like, why was the opening credits that cool?
It's almost like they filmed it, and one dude in the background was like, hey, maybe we should put those scenes in the movie, and they all looked at each other and were just like, nah, fuck that guy, put him in the intro. like they.
Let's keep that away.
I have some notes on it, but I'm going to throw it to you guys first. I just want to say the score for this movie is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good.
The opening credits are awesome. I do personally think it's a great film, but I think you can dissect the shit out of this movie. I know Matt has a lot of thoughts, and we don't need to stick to a certain point in the movie. We could jump back and forth, but Matt, if you want to go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, burn it down.
All right.
Fire.
So I'm going to say this. I went into it, I really wanted to like it when it had come out, and I had seen not the trailers, but like the 5-second, online ads before you click, fuck this ad. It piqued my interest, like, as far as like, oh shit, a modern day Invisible Man. Let's see what they do with this, right? It's not Invisible Man. It's just fucking not. It's a movie about an abused spouse of some kind. They're not married, so you're wondering why. I mean, the movie literally doesn't even start with the invisible fucking man. It starts with her waking up in the bed and she escapes. That's the whole thing. The whole fucking movie is about her. And it's ridiculous. And you want to know why? I'm gonna jump back and forth. You want to know why it's all about her? So they can set up a stupid fucking sequel that never will fucking happen. Why? Because this movie sucked dick. Okay, we'll go.
Where do you think it's gonna be a sequel, though? I
I'll
not see that.
We'll go back to that.
There is going to be a sequel.
God damn, and it's her too. Her and her stupid fucking face. Fuck your face, Elizabeth Moss. I fucking hate your face. So this whole movie's not an Invisible Man movie, and there's no justification for anything that anybody does in this fucking movie. Okay, I will say this: the scenes with the Invisible Man, as far as like oh god damn it. Okay, so just to
take a breath.
Just to dive into the story. A battered spouse is living with an insanely rich dude who works in optics. Your only goddamn connection to the original fucking story is the guy works in optics. That's it. Because there's no justification in everything. If you're unfamiliar with the original Invincible Man story, the concept is man who works in optics basically poisons himself and turns himself irreversibly invincible. Okay, even in the original story, it's chemicals. And part of this character, and the reason why he does the things he does, is because he's being driven mad. As you can see in a much better movie than this movie, Hollow Man. Hollow Man, the whole idea is Kevin Bacon is driven insane because he can't sleep, nobody can see him, his entire life is ruined in an instant, and it is fucking with him mentally and physically. There is no it's a suit, goddammit. He puts on a fucking Iron Man suit and he's invisible.
Invisible.
And here's the plot. She escapes him. He fakes his death just to fuck her life over. This man with millions upon maybe billions of dollars to the point where he's got the goddamn Trump wall around his fucking property. Okay, he's so fucking rich. And he is obsessed with and I don't mean to be mean, but with Elizabeth fucking Moss. And I'm not even talking physically. She's got a personality of a dead person. So he can have anybody he dreams of. And he's not a bad looking dude. He's just kind of douchey, whatever. But he's not bad looking. He could have anybody. He could lay with models every night. But
doesn't she even say that?
Yes. To her credit, she understands how shitty of a person she is. Yeah, so, the character knows she's garbage. So, but instead, he fakes his death, has his Iron Man suit, has his squirrely little brother who... Fuck that guy, by the way, who's a lawyer, and the whole time...
the brother was a piece of shit.
The whole time he represents... And they basically, what happens is he fakes his death, she inherits money, he sets up basically everything... that he sets up is to trap her and, at one point put her in prison and this and that. And I don't want to step on... I feel like I'm going to step on your guys' toes if I keep going.
I think you're good.
You good, Lewis?
How much, Lewis?
So let me piggyback on...
I'll take a break. Lewis, please. I love you.
So let me piggyback on what you said at the beginning. So this movie seems like... It seems like you start the movie and you miss the first half of the movie. And from a plot standpoint, using the lead as a victim of abuse kind of asks a lot of a viewer in accepting that implied abuse because there's no build up to it, like there's no kind of intro to it.
At that point, there's no even markings on her either. Like there's no sign of anything physical.
There's no instance of abuse.
Mental and verbal, it's obvious, that sort of thing, because she's obviously a damaged character. But physically speaking, she's literally sleeping in the bed with him.
It just starts out with her trying to escape, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Well, that's the thing too. Is where that opening scene where it's implied that all this is happening and we're just thrown into it. You're essentially just told that Adrian Griffin, the Invisible Man, is just a bad guy because he's a bad guy because he's a bad guy.
Well, no, there's the one. No. There's the one line where she calls him a sociopath. So that,
Yeah.
But maybe being a bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
No, but it goes from bad guy to murderer.
Is that from Wreck-It Ralph? Is that from Wreck-It Ralph?
No, so I think like jumping back to we're gonna reference Hollow Man so many times.
Better movie.
But that movie gives you Kevin Bacon's turn into being a bad person, and this movie just says, okay, we're going. Here's the main lead.
Here's full throttle.
She's in an abusive relationship. Here's the bad guy. Don't worry about him. He's just a bad guy, and it
Yeah.
just wants you to roll.
Yeah. There's no. It's not.
And-
Please,
There's
sorry.
no build up.
that's-
There's nothing that led you to it.
I've been literally the
Yeah.
pressure's been building since because when I watched this movie, I was like halfway through. I'm like, there's been a couple cool scenes, but is this really what the whole movie's about? And by the time the movie ended, yeah. Please go on.
So another thing that bothers me is that this movie, I think it's a pretty cool concept, the take on what they're doing with the Invisible Man. You know, if they want to do a suit, that's fine. But my problem is that this movie at times doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a thriller? Does it get into parts where it wants to be action?
Does it want to have any cohesiveness in the story?
Yeah. So and
yeah.
and I mean we'll get to it, but the whole third act of this movie just doesn't fit with the first two. Like, we go from a woman who's struggling to get out of a relationship, dealing with her psycho ex, and now she's a badass.
Yeah.
And
Well, she's a multi-millionaire now.
Well,
Well,
that's the thing. She's never. We'll go into that. Hold on. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, the first part of the movie, the first act is remnants of like a Hollow Man, traditional Invisible Man. Then it goes into a Fatal Attraction type movie,
Yeah.
and it ends up with they pull the mask off, and it was Mr. Withers that owned the amusement park the whole time. Like, it's like I'm watching it, and I'm like, and I called it as I was watching it. I was like, all right, this is how this is going to play out. Watch, there's two suits. Watch, and sure enough, yes. But please go on, Lewis. I'm going to
See, but
explode when you're done.
My wife actually called it
that's-
about the brother.
Yeah.
that's my issue, is the plot I just described is like an empowerment movie, and that's fine. That's a fine plot for a movie. But this is a horror movie, so it's weird to be thrown into the movie at what seems like the middle, and then we end the movie and essentially start the beginning of a sequel.
Yeah, and here's
It just
and you really tapped into something that I want to branch off of, the empowerment angle. How is this an empowerment movie? Why should I fucking care about her? Who's to say she's not a piece of shit? There's nothing that tells you she isn't a piece of shit. Maybe he hates her because she just killed his puppy. We don't know. Why do we not know? Because they don't fucking tell you. The movie gives you zero reason to like the main character besides the fact that she's an abused spouse. That is the only personality, the only background, and the only reason they give you to root for her. Not because you like her, not because you want her to survive, but because she's an abused spouse, therefore she's the good for the guy, therefore you must root for her. No character. If they could, I don't like Elizabeth Moss as a character, or as an actress. I'm not saying she's a bad actress, I just don't like her. However, if they would have given her character a background that states, she's not a piece of garbage, this is why you should like her, this is why you should root for her, or give a couple scenes of maybe the past abuse. And don't make it physical abuse. Make it things like they're in a big fancy party and he dresses her down in front of his friends and destroys her mentally. Because then you can lead into the end of the movie where it plays out for the sequel.
There was no interaction between the two of them to show how he was abusive towards her
At
in
all.
any way.
Besides, he woke up one day and was like, oh, my girlfriend left me. Time to put on my suit and start killing fucking people.
Yeah, well, they spoon feed you his relationship with her through after he quote unquote dies, and she's talking to her sister.
Yeah.
The detective.
She,
But,
it-
like,
she
a little
eventually-
bit.
She eventually says it when it sounds like she's crazy, though, right? Is
Yeah,
it when it comes out?
but the thing is to hear that from her when we have no real
That's
we
what I'm
have
saying.
no dialogue from Adrian. We have nothing to go on other than seeing his bat cave when she's escaping. Um,
and the car alarm.
So,
Oh,
No, but-
and
but she-
sorry, go ahead.
No, but she makes it known that she was abused after the fact, that she's already been gone, and there's no I don't know. There's nothing between the two of them that showed the interaction of how it got
there's
there.
there's no proof to the viewer, so you're
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
asking
You have to
this
take
is
it
just
for
the way
you have to
it
take
is.
it for you have
Like-
to take it for what it is.
Like I said, much like some of the issues with Hotel Artemis, her entire character, the only reason she exists is to be the abused spouse. And that is the only reason they give for you to root for her. And I don't like that. That's not empowerment. That is I have to pity her. I have to come into a movie and pity the main character and like her out of pity because she's an abused spouse.
There has to be meat to your potatoes, right?
I guess. I don't know what that entirely means. But
So
when
guess
when you're eating dinner.
to finish off
I like
some of my
carrots.
thoughts before I toss it to one of you guys. So my issue with this movie not knowing what it wanted to be is between the annoying panning shots where Elizabeth Moss turns around and looks at the camera for 10 seconds over and over and over. Like I said, it would have been better to me if this movie stuck to, if it wants to be a thriller, if it wants to be jump scare, like something cohesive.
go on.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait my
Um,
turn. I'm gonna wait my turn because it's the fun that once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, so I feel like that, and then like the cherry on top of the end, like the hallway action scene that is kind of, it's a little absurd.
It's absurd, but it's one of the
Yeah.
coolest scenes in the movie because things are actually happening. Like,
It is. Although I would like to know Adrian and his brother's workout regimen that they can.
and the training.
Yeah.
Like, how are
Yeah.
they both James Bond? Spoiler alert, both of the motherfuckers wear the suit at one point. Oh, by the way, technical point of view, don't watch the movie with subtitles on like I did, because it spoils the movie for you immediately. You want to know how it spoils the movie for you immediately? Every time the motherfucker's in the room, in subtitles, mechanical clicking noises. So that idea of like, I think I hear like a clock running. It must be a suit. Gone.
I've never heard nothing.
You didn't hear those?
No.
Yeah. Every time he's
Oh,
close.
you didn't have the volume up then.
Yeah. Every time he's close, you hear like shutters of the cameras moving.
Oh, I heard stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, the subtitles every time he's close,
It actually spells it out for you, huh?
it says mechanical clicking noises. So I knew immediately it was a suit, which then immediately told me that it's not following the original. Now, here's the thing. This is how this movie could have fixed itself. And this is going a little bit later in the movie. When it comes out that he's not dead and the brother's working with him, and now the brother's kind of extorting Elizabeth Moss with she's pregnant. So the idea being like, he's agreeing to marry you, stop murdering your family members and doing things like this.
He's agreed to murdering you.
Which is an absurd fucking plot.
So
He raped you. Yeah, we're gonna marry you.
Oh, I forgot my fucking point now. God damn it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to go ahead, but you interrupted me. Now I forgot. So the whole thing is they're working together. Louis, sorry, go on. You really just fucked me over on that one. God damn it.
So what do you guys think of the suit, Alex? What do you think of the suit and the effects?
I thought the suit, as far as the effects go, that is plausible. Like as far as you have all these little cameras that project some kind of images that could keep you from being seen. I thought it was plausible.
Well, you have no choice but to assume it's plausible because they don't go into it at all.
Well, yeah.
They don't talk about the fucking technology of the eyeball suit that makes him invisible. You don't have a reason for him to be insane. It's just a suit. You don't even explain what the fucking suit is.
It's invisible.
Do you want to continue? Are you sure? You giving it to me? All right. No, but what I'm saying is, I thought it was plausible as far as that part goes because there was nothing else that was going on, and you're trying to figure it out how this is going to make sense. So
it's plausible because they didn't have shit else going on. I assume.
Up to my own, if it was left up to my own devices, I was going to say, okay, yeah, I seen that part is plausible. As far as how the story was just progressing, it didn't make sense how. Oh God.
I told you by the end of this episode you were gonna hate the movie, and we are 34% the way there.
I think the suit is cool in concept.
Yeah.
I think if they would have leaned more into
Explaining.
well, no. If they don't
Anything?
explain it, that's fine. If they want to use that as a MacGuffin where it's just mysterious and whatever.
He made it in a lab. Must be
So
science.
I think it would have been better if they using that suit leaned more into, because they kind of played with the idea of is Elizabeth Moss's character thinking that's something there, or is he actually fucking with her? They did it for a bit
Until they explicitly tell you, like, yeah, she's being fucked with.
Very small point. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
It was like, is this actually happening? And then 2 minutes later, oh, it's okay. I guess it's real.
So it's for a very small point.
Oh yeah, so I don't know. This movie could have done a lot of cool things with the suit. I think the fact that they kind of just take the magic away and just immediately kind of show that Adrian's the Invisible Man, take away the attention of Elizabeth Moss, not knowing if she's going crazy or not. It just that's where it loses it for me, and especially in the third act of this movie. The Elizabeth Moss getting her own suit to set up her
redemption scene.
Which, I mean, if you go to the classic Universal monsters, there is an invisible woman, but it just doesn't make sense for this as a horror movie that we're setting her up to be.
What was this really a horror movie though?
It was supposed to be, yeah. That's how it was marketed, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so if it would have stuck in the Universal cinematic universe of pictures, it most likely would have been like a thriller action, and maybe they were hanging on to that a little bit when making this movie, but they had such potential to lean into what the trailer, and granted, trailers are notorious for just being bullshit.
Giving up all the bullshit at once.
Yeah, but this movie had something in it towards the beginning, quote unquote, middle, since the movie kind of starts in the middle, and kind of just gives it up when it just kind of lets you know what's going on and doesn't really care about the rest of the plot. But I will let Matt, you want to give us some more of your positive thoughts on the film?
Did Alex already get a chance to say his spiel or no? I can't remember.
No, I did not.
I tell you what, Alex, I want you to go ahead. You go ahead, sir.
So here's my thing about the movie.
Shut up.
And here's Matt's stuff about the movie. Go ahead, Matt. No, seriously. The movie was progressing, but as it got to the point of her leaving the place and escaping, and then all of a sudden the boyfriend was there. You couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. You know, like she had her little pill bottle hiding under the bed. And she pulled it out.
That does come back later on.
And it turns out to be the sisters. I don't know.
No. You got to remember, the whole thing was she thought that was her birth control, and she had been taking it because she didn't want to have a kid with him. And he later on it comes out that he was replacing it.
But was it her address or his address? Like I was getting confused. Like,
that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't think the address.
There's no explanation as to what's going on.
True. Very true.
So it makes you think, like, what is going on? And then when she shows up outside and she's waiting for the car, and the car that shows up, it turns out to be this girl that's picking her up.
Sister.
And she's
yeah.
Well, you don't know that yet. So she gets in the car and she's like, oh, yeah. and then you hear the things that make you sound like, oh, that's your sister. All of a sudden she's like, all right, let's go. And she's like, what's going on? I hate that shit about movies.
Yeah, gun it, bitch. Shut up.
What's going on?
Put the pedal to the metal.
dry.
And then Adrian Falcon punches the window.
Yeah, I do. Okay, you got to give the movie credit because after he does it, he is like bleeding profusely. Like his hand is fucked up.
He does punch it a couple times,
but
before he does break through.
I will agree with you. Like realistic. I literally called you in a panic, told you to meet me on a road behind a woods that I had to run through, and you're gonna be like, "What's the problem, dear?" No. Put your foot down and get us the fuck out of here. I 100% agree with that.
She should have fucking been like, "Oh, you're in the car?"
Yeah. In fact, she just did a Chicago stop where the door's open, bitch, jump in, we gotta roll. Like, that's what she should have done.
That's what should have happened from the beginning. So there's similar. I don't know. There's things that I just fucking don't get. That one and the dog thing. That little fucking dog, man, when he hit the fucking car, I wanted to punch him. I love animals.
I don't like the dog murder in movies. We've gone over that.
But why did the dog hit the fucking car? Fuck that dog.
So can we talk about how much of a piece of shit Elizabeth Moss's sister is in this movie?
Yeah, like she literally helps her escape. The dude punches through the window, and then next day she's basically like, "Is it really that bad? Is it that bad?
You really don't want to get your money?
He's got money. Is it really that bad?" Like, she's basically like a Yenta who's like, "You're not going to do better."
You just picked me up from somebody that put his fist through the window.
He would have killed both of us, and you're questioning my choices to leave this psychopath? Like, he was going to murder us.
Questioning her choice to not give her money.
And then there's the detective who's like cracking jokes at her being like agoraphobic and battered.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Maybe we'll make it across the street next week. Like,
don't worry about it. You'll be able to get the paper. I'm a dick. Gonna walk away.
That was the other thing about when
he was an alright guy though.
Yeah, no, he was a stand-up dude. The scene where his daughter is sitting there talking to Elizabeth Moss.
She gets
and all of a sudden,
face.
she gets fucking whacked.
Okay.
They're so far apart. They're so far apart for her to scream, "Daddy, she hit me!" Fuck you, man. Oh my god.
Okay, so
there was so many gaps in between that pissed me off.
A positive that I really, really, really liked about the movie, was that when the Invisible Man does get violent, it's very visceral, like, especially in the beginning when it's kind of in that mode of like, is what's going on here? Is she crazy or is he? And then it escalates to the point where you can see he's clearly fucking with her in her apartment in the apartment when he like beats and he's like fucking her up.
Their house,
it's very, it's brutal. Like, I will say because he literally comes in and he's the invisible dude, so it's just out of nowhere. And I will give them credit that. Between the sound effects and the way they did the CG, it was effective. I appreciate, and that's the thing is like when you watch those.
The premise of the story in a whole was fucking awesome.
Well, I have problems with that, and I'll go into it. But if you watch it when you watch the movie and it flips format to those scenes, there's two things. One part of me is like, this is cool. This is kind of violent and it's neat. Part of me's also just, it goes back to the like, who trained this motherfucker? How is he so good at, like, because you can wear a suit that makes you your Harry Potter cloak doesn't mean you're a fucking ninja, brother. Like, that's all I'm saying. No. But please go on.
No, I get what you're saying there.
And so sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I agree with Matt of when it does flip to Adrian being violent, it is visceral and the effects look fucking cool. I don't buy that guy though can do the things that he's doing in this movie.
Or his brother.
All on his own.
Or his brother.
Like lift Elizabeth Moss up by her neck.
I also I mean she's got some girth to her. Like, let's be real here.
They don't explain. Does the suit give him power?
Like, here's the thing: if it's Hayden Panettiere, who weighs like 78 pounds, that makes sense. Elizabeth Moss is a real woman. Like, that's not realistic. And the other thing is,
but that's
who's Hayden Panettiere?
A chick from Heroes.
So that's
Okay.
the problem with not giving a backstory to Adrian is you don't know if he's like mentally unstable or super strong or something like that.
You don't know. You just know. You know he's a genius. But they don't really talk about it. But you can figure the fact that he's a millionaire, multi-millionaire for his company. You know he's got some smarts to the guy. That's why he can lay out this whole plan of destruction of her life.
And it's like if you're not going to give us a few tidbits of information about the suit, you can give us information about like, well, maybe this guy is super strong and violent, or maybe he has. Oh, go ahead. I
remembered what I was thinking about earlier of how they could have saved this movie, and it's as simple as this: the scene where after he fakes his death and she's in. Okay, so I have to say this: the fact that it goes from him slapping around and pushing her into cabinets and fucking with her in her apartment to him slicing her sister's throat and putting the knife, like, how does it go from that? Like, it literally goes from like, I'm gonna fuck with her to I just murdered her family and put the knife in her hand. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, no motives again. Once again, besides I'm gonna ruin her life.
Right after that is when they punched the daughter in the face.
But all they have to, the brother, when he's talking to her, after they find out that she's pregnant, and he tells her, come back to him now that you're pregnant. He's willing to marry you. Blah blah blah. Change it up. Have the conversation be, so he's not technically dead, but I don't know how much he told you. He was developing this new technology, and this is what it did. And unfortunately, right now, there's no way to, make him go back. That's how you stick to the original story. That's how you give it this idea that the reason why he's getting increasingly violent it goes from pushing her around to the apartment, to killing her sister, to slapping and beating the daughter, to...
But no, it's a love story. It's a love story.
No, but then it goes... it's
a love story.
But his violence... Dude, shut up. His violence escalates. It's an anti-love story.
Well, technically, it's a love story. He loves her, and and that's the whole bullshit about it.
But that's stupid.
The bullshit about it.
But here's the thing. But there's no justification for his jumps in violence, is what I'm saying. Like I said, it goes from pushing her around and slapping the shit out of her in the house, to killing her fucking sister, to hitting the girl, to storming a police station and shooting and maiming 6 officers, to there's no, like, if he is stuck in the invisible and he's going insane and all he's doing all he's doing is sitting there. I just stop interrupting me, please. He's sitting there stewing in it about how he can't be seen. He wants to be with her. That would make sense, because his obsession with her mixed with the invisibleness insanity would drive the violence. It's human nature. But instead, they just stuck to the suit. They gave him no justification. You can't like him, because the only character they given of him is he abuses her, he's murdered her family, and he's trying to ruin her life. And her only character is she was abused by him, he's murdered her family, and he's trying to ruin her life. Not in the movie.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Biggest problem in the movie is the fact that there's no reasoning for any of it. The piss poor thin storyline of he's obsessed with her, and it's and here's my other thing is it's only an empowerment movie by elimination that the male in the movie is all males except for the cop in the movie are 100% pieces of shit. The brother, but you don't know the other detectives, but that's the thing is, if a movie's not going to give you detail, and you were supposed to insert the own detail by the surrounding details they give, every male supporting character in this movie besides the cop is a downright piece of shit.
And you don't know enough about the what's his name
any of them. They talk about this story between the brothers.
You know enough about the brother.
Not even. What do you know?
You can tell that the brother's a piece of shit because of
Oh,
how he
yeah.
talks.
Well, they work
Yeah.
together. He's
You-
his
you-
attorney,
you can-
and
But you can get right off the bat that the brother's a piece of shit, but you don't know enough about what's his name, Adrian or whatever.
well, you have, but he. I mean, and here's the other thing is that
You only know hearsay. You don't see nothing physical.
But then you get to the end of the movie where she's basically tricking him into confessing that he was in the suit, because the whole thing comes out where they find him. Yeah, the twist is they find that he's tied up
Opening
in
scene for the sequel.
yeah, well, that he's tied up in a crawl space, and the brother was in the suit the whole time, despite the fact that she knows there's two suits. They lay that out explicitly. They lay it out explicitly that it's Adrian in the suit.
He has one too.
No, there's two suits. They lay it out explicitly. I told you this. Start paying attention to the fucking movies you watch. I don't know how many times we had.
I thought she found one. There
Two
was one
suits.
that was not there.
So there's two complete suits.
Yeah.
That we see in the movie that we know of. But
Ne-
then again, this movie.
One that she sees at the beginning when she was leaving. Right? Remember when she's
Yeah.
trying to escape and she sees a suit, but there's nothing there. Is that agreed upon?
I don't know what you want me to say. There's two fucking suits. Like I don't know I don't know how I'm supposed to chime in and convince you anymore that there's two suits.
Trying to leave, and she sees something with clips and stuff, and that's a suit, correct?
On the mannequin.
Yes, where there's nothing. There's no body. There's no.
She pulls the one suit off the mannequin
Later on,
and hides it. Yeah.
and that's the same spot where she looked at.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
It's not on my end. I can't. I mean, communicate the fucking thought.
You remember when she was running from his captivity?
In the beginning.
Looks back and she sees a spot where the suit is, and there's nothing there, but there's clips and stustuff. But she
Yeah,
she
it's
sees
in the room.
Okay, so that's the suit, correct?
Yeah, the suit's on. It's activated at that point.
It's there. So she leaves, and then her brother-in-law or whatever he is, he gets at blah blah blah. When she comes back, she goes back to that spot. That's the suit, and she pulls it off, and she gets everything ready. So the brother-in-law is the one that's running around with the suit.
You don't know that at that point because there's one other suit that's missing. So it could be Adrian. It could be the brother-in-law.
So could there be two suits or three suits?
It's two suits.
Okay. That's my question. So she's got that part, and then there's somebody running around with another suit that she just stabbed like 95 times at the asylum or whatever, and now she's back at the place trying to grab that suit.
Well, there's the one suit that she hides, and then that comes into play at the ending. Then there's the other suit that's active.
So-
I guess you can make the case of there potentially being a third suit,
There might
but
be
there's
some-
there's.
that was my yeah.
I mean,
thank you.
they don't
so-
offer any proof to back that up though.
Yeah, the movie like intently pans in, letting you know, at least from a plot standpoint, that there are two suits.
Because the brother and him, they got to point out that he's not alone.
Everybody might be wearing a birthday suit. Yeah.
Well, not everybody. There's two suits. There's two bad guys, the brother and Adrian.
Can we call this
One
episode Two
guy-
Suits?
Yes, we can. God damn it.
The two suits instead of the
So-
two.
Now, I don't know if anybody knows anything about cameras or lenses and how directional light works, as far as, and also how refracting light works.
I don't.
Camera lenses and things that refract light are very highly sensitive to, I don't know, dirt, fingerprints, smudges. So theoretically, every time that suit touches a surface or a person touches that suit, and any sort of real life grime or humidity, he should be walking around with chunks of the suit being visible at all times as he's moving. Realistically. Because, once again, they don't explain the technology, so you have to go by what technology is, and if you know anything about lenses, Refractional light is very heavily frayed when you have things blocking, and the other thing is, where is it taking these light sources from? Is it creating the light sources? Is it a hologram? Well, we don't know. Why don't we know? It doesn't fucking tell you.
They don't.
This movie sucks.
Can you explain it?
No, because I just gave you a theory, but much like The Shed, this movie's better than The Shed. It is. I'm not going to say it's not better than The Shed. It's got better production. It's got better acting. It's got better CG in general.
It's got more money.
Generally speaking, only by $5 million though. So what they do with the difference is quite astonishing. But they don't give you any insight, dude. Like, you don't know. The movie is so fucking hollow. They built an entire movie on this character being abused by her spouse. That is the entire movie. The main villain, who is the Invisible Man, has no justification for his actions. They don't even attempt to justify it. He's just painted as, here's bad guy A, you're supposed to hate him, he does bad things to people you're supposed to like. Why are you supposed to like these people? Because he did bad things to them. It's a stupid fucking plot line. I love Leigh Whannell, but I doubt he fucking wrote this movie. I don't know who wrote it, but I doubt it was him. Because if you look at things he does write, like Death Sentence and the original Saw, he's a good writer. He knows how to do his shit.
So he did the screenplay, but you do gotta remember this came down from what would be Universal's big ticket, so I imagine Universal had their hands deep in the pockets of this movie.
But here's the thing. They gave you a rated R movie though. Then you brought the story. What 5 things could they change in the story of this movie as a movie studio production company that would make it better or worse? Realistically,
Make it better for the women.
They didn't make him put some supermodel in the lead. It's Elizabeth Moss, who looks like a real woman. So you already got that agenda's crossed off. So whatever star the no name being the actual, but then that's the other thing is the whole fucking movie. The reason why I feel it's devoid of any sort of character as an entire movie, and the more I thought about it, the more I hated it because of the pigeonhole it forces you to think in. You can't think outside the box in this movie. Like, we talked about Hotel Artemis being linear. It was linear because the same reasons, except I at least was able to go, well, what about this character's past? And what about this one? Was just like, no, you shouldn't be thinking about his past. He's too much of a piece of shit. Just think about the fact that he's in an eyeball suit that makes him invisible. And then to the end of the movie, the whole movie's set up to be a sequel. That's all it is. When she steals the suit, she shows, and the other thing is, why should I root for a murderer? The end of the movie, spoiler, ends with she wants to get him on confession, knows he won't confess because he's this big, bad, villainous, and he's literally acting like a fucking baby. He's just like, he won't confess to it. He's, I love you, I want to raise this child. And he's smart, because once again, they don't tell you he's smart, but you have to deduce that by the fact that he's a multimillionaire living in a Spanish conquistador prison, I think is what it was. And he's got all this technology, so you deduce that he's intelligent. So that's the whole thing. Because he's intelligent, he's the bad guy. Because he has the intelligence to say, oh, you know, like, not only that, but he obviously works for a living. When does he have time to create an entire plot to fake his death just to ruin her life? Like, why is she so special? Like,
also, how do you... like, let's say his end game comes to fruition after he kills the sister and all that. How do you get away with faking your own death?
Money and power, just like how he would have gotten her out of the whole killing her own sister thing, despite the fact that she's obviously on a restaurant camera with the knife going, like, you know what I mean? Like, and the other thing is, did he, like, when he did that, how is he Gumby? Because, like, here's her hand on the table. And the knife literally slices the throat, and then her hand's like forced up holding it.
And then her hands up top. How does she get her hands up top? That was my thing too.
Now here's the thing: you could have made this shitty movie, okay? You could have made it with all these lack of characters and these plot holes, and all you would have had to do was at the end of the movie, she was working with him the whole time. She's just as sick as he is.
Now I want to see that movie, damn it.
That's how you fix this entire shithole of a movie. Because the whole thing is...
This guy over here can recreate a bunch of fucking movies, but he won't do it.
Because the thing about...
It's funny because you're saying that, but you're pointing away from him on my
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
on my screen, he's over here, right? So all right, so tell me, where is he? Is he over here? Or is he over here?
That would, you're trying to point at me?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm this
so
way.
Where are you when I look at you? Are you here?
I'm not. No, I'm above Lewis. You're pointing down.
All right. So Lewis is below me, and you are to the left of me.
I'm stage left.
All right. So you're here.
Stage left.
I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Right hand, private pile.
All right. This is my right hand. So you're this way.
That would be correct.
All right. So Lewis is below me.
He is blowing you. Yes.
I'm not
No.
blowing you.
Lewis is below me.
No, I will not.
Stop propositioning the host.
All right. You know what? We need to talk about this next time. Which way are you guys at? So I could.
I already told you. How many fucking times you got to be told? I'm to your right.
No.
He's below you.
No. When I'm looking at my screen, you're here and Lewis is here.
I know. It's stage left.
No. Lewis is here and you are here.
Stage left,
Stage
Alex.
left is this way.
Exactly. That's where I am.
All right. Well, it doesn't make no fucking sense. Anyways.
So,
Wait, what were we talking about?
if it makes you feel better about this movie, there are 2 sequels that are coming out.
Holy shit!
There's
Really?
A sequel to the first one, and then there's The Invisible Woman.
There's a sequel to the first one, and there's going to be a sequel to the second one.
The whole first fucking movie. Is that
what you're trying to say, Lewis?
The whole first movie is it's just a lead up to the idea that she gets the suit and she becomes the Invisible Woman. That's the whole. That's the whole movie.
What the fuck is the plot to that second movie?
Yeah.
What does she do?
She gets to go on and being. Well, no. Here's the thing, though.
You make somebody's day happy.
Here's the thing. This makes sense.
You're gonna make somebody's day happy.
This makes sense if you look at it from the narrow scope of trying to capture the Marvel craze. Because they tried to build the universe, which means what would have happened is the characters would have come together in some shitty Avengers-esque horror movie to which they're doing something where they're working together and the suit comes in handy and she gets to play the hero role. When realistically, the way they set it up is she just goes about her life being a murderous dumbass. Like, she kills the guy and it's like, walks outside and the cop's like, he was never supposed to confess, was he? And she's like, You saw him. He killed himself. And then he sees the suit because, of course, my subtitles come up and clicking mechanical noises are happening in the bag. And he looks down and it's like, what dude would look down and be like, oh, that's one of those suits that guy that almost killed me was wearing before he was shot several times in the chest. As a police officer, I don't know if I should like, what is she going to do to you? She's a feeble woman. Handcuff her.
She's Elizabeth Moss, damn it.
Yeah. She's so empowered that she brutally murders someone. Like, that's the thing is she becomes what she hates, and I'm supposed to root for that for the sequel?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Because it's garbage. That's why not. It's a garbage storyline.
I don't know.
Do you guys want to rate this bad boy?
Sure. Let's start with Alex.
Oh, I'm supposed to rate this. Let's see. I'm gonna go two hot dogs. Two.
22.
So, for me, this movie had a lot of cool ideas in theory. The suit is a cool concept. I do like the use of the like violent action scenes with Adrian's character when he's in the suit.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, I like that too.
Because of all that, I'm gonna go 2.5. I think it's a movie you should see. However, it could have been so much more than it was.
Definitely.
I'm gonna give it a 1. I like the like as you said the kind of action scenes when the Invisible Man is actually in a shot. I could let go certain things. I could let go the imbalance and how it feels, but I can't let go of basically the movie forcing you into a thought process. It doesn't give you any options. There's no mystery. It just tells you, look, you know what? We were going to make this part of the movie that explains why you should care about these characters, but then they told us we only had 7 million, and we had to film at the Spanish Conquistador prison, so that took up a good budget. Elizabeth Moss's face demands quite a bit, so we only have this much. Let's start the movie completely bewildered, her just waking up in a bed and escaping a home. Hold on, please.
Go ahead.
That's the problem, is they don't give you any reason to like a character. They don't give you any reason to root for any character. The plot is as thin as... Well, it's just damn thin. I thought the plot was garbage. There's too much build-up in the beginning. It deserves... I don't know. Like, I like Leigh Whannell, and that's where I think in the action scenes is where you see him come through. But the story is just so weak, and they think the audience is stupid, and it'll eat up anything, and I'm not eating... I thought it was shit. I was very disappointed with it. I was excited to watch it. I give it a 1, and it's one of those movies where I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, personally speaking.
Well, that's where I'm going to agree with my wife for once in my life. She said it, like I said, she said blah.
Wife, blah.
Blah. Wife said blah. Yeah, no, she said wife said blah. Don't believe him.
We love our Jewish listeners.
No, but that is exactly what Emmy said about when she watched the movie. After she watched it, she goes, I thought I would like it because I knew the girl. She goes, but it was just blah.
But that's the other thing is, like, even really dark horror movies
even after knowing who the person is.
Well, like, dark movies that end negatively, like, there's a lot of them still make you feel like you've watched a good movie and you're not down about it. This movie from start to finish was just like it's a commercial for anxiety medication. Like, are you lonely seeing things? Kitchen cabinets flying off the wall. Do you think an invisible man is trying to kill you? Take Frabisol.
You can have movies where the bad person is bad for the sake of being bad, like any killer family movie, like fucking
exactly
Hills Have Eyes or Texas Chainsaw.
But then you have to make them 100% bad to the point where he doesn't shoot cops in the shoulder; he point blanks them in the head. Like, that's the thing is he didn't kill any cops or anything. He was very calculated.
Well, also, if you're gonna do that, you have to put some sort of vested interest in the other character. And that's what this movie didn't have.
I guess my biggest issue is when you look at it from the original makes sense even Hollow Man makes sense in the framing that what he's done to himself, he cannot undo. It is driving him insane. This insanity is driving the violence and the obsession. And Hollow Man did the same thing. The Hollow Man lays it out pretty clear. There's a few scenes in Hollow Man where he's going nuts. You can see it. When he kills the dog, that's his breaking point. When he can't do it anymore.
It's a rough scene.
It really is. And that's why I've never watched it with my wife, because she can't handle it. But that's the thing, is this movie doesn't have that at all. And really that's the soul of the Invisible Man movie, is his descent into madness. And what they gave you is, here's a suit, and he just really wants to fuck with her. Like, I'm supposed to believe that this guy is just a murderous troll? Like, come on. But let's wrap up this movie. I know this is one of the first ones, I think, where Lewis and I have a difference of an opinion. He kind of likes it, and I really try to like it. I can't. I don't like when movies try to basically say, hey, stupid, enjoy it anyways. Like, the fact that it made the money it made, I don't like, because I would rather not have a sequel to this. I'd rather have an entirely different reboot.
There shouldn't be a sequel.
You know, they're going to make a sequel to this. They'll probably make it on a lower budget still. It was already wildly more successful than The Mummy with Tom Cruise. So give Elizabeth Moss that credit. She was able to take a movie that cost $7 million to make, and I mean, the movie's about her. So give her the credit that her movie, what is it, 15 times the budget they made? Like, that's the thing is, you know, Tom Cruise's movie flopped and hers didn't. That's why they're pushing it. I just don't agree that the direction they've started in is going to lead to a fruitful a character longevity, because frankly, she's just a murderous buffoon at the end of it. And the cop, and the other thing is, like, if you're going to be the Invisible Woman, maybe don't let a fucking cop know that you're the Invisible Woman. Like, this isn't Spider-Man. Okay, you're not a fucking superhero. You're a murderer.
Yeah.
It doesn't. None of the actions make sense to me.
He heard the killing.
He knew he watched it on camera.
He heard it. No, he heard it first, because he didn't see what happened because she was invisible.
Well, that's the other thing is, like, since when does a natural suicide look like this?
Exactly.
Like, that was
exactly.
Those scenes didn't make any sense to me. It's just they were just haphazardly done, I think, is the problem.
Oh shit! When the sister got her neck sliced, it wasn't whatever.
It literally, like, she's got
there was plot.
The way the knife cuts her sister's throat and ends up in her hand is like she fucking Anakin Skywalkered it, and that's how it happened. Like, that's how it looks. Like, she used the fucking Force, and boom.
But she didn't do it though. She didn't do it. So.
Like, was she high-fiving the waiter and it just happened to time out where he's slicing the sister's throat and like...
But it also happened behind her. So
yeah, her arm was cocked, like, back here, too. Like
it went from behind her and sliced around and then into her hand.
Did it? Because I thought it came up on the table across the sister's throat and then into her hand.
Well, the sister's eyes opened up behind her.
Like she saw something?
I mean? Like yeah, sure. Yeah,
she kind of like got the,
her sister saw what was going on, and then all of a sudden it went. That was my big thing about that. Like, she was looking at her own death. No, it wasn't. Oh God, whatever.
So I will say, since we kind of
keep it up, I'm gonna blur you out of the fucking thing.
The one
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Continue, Lewis.
The one unique thing about this film, in the time that it came out and with its release, this isn't really about the movie, but I do think that with the budget, with the box office money that this movie made, I really do think premium VOD movies are future. Like, you got this.
Yep.
You have Mulan.
I've said it. For how long have we said it? Where it's just like, just let me rent it at home.
Let me stay at home, but not for that much money though.
I do.
Not for
think,
$20.
It depends on what the movie is.
30. Not for,
Yeah,
yeah.
And if it's a buy, like if it's a buy or rent for $20, that's an okay value.
I think post COVID-19, this is definitely going to be more in the wheelhouse when it comes to releasing films. I'm honestly, all three of us don't like People. I will pay premium price to see a movie I really want to see in my own house. Before COVID, I hadn't been to a movie for like 6 months. I just didn't go anymore. Because I mean, going to films when we were kids, like you said, you either said it earlier today or on last week's episode, it was an experience.
Yeah.
And like now, it's not.
Well, it was also something you couldn't get at home.
Yeah.
Like home theaters back in the 90s and even early 2000s, if your average family can't afford that. Your average family can barely afford at that point the flat screen they may have. So it's like back in the 90s, it was the best image, the best sound, because back in the 90s they cranked up the theaters. It was like bowling for it was a family activity. And I think it depends on the movie. I think if it's a movie, personally, if it's a movie I really want to see that is not just the rental for $20, but I can purchase it, that seals the deal for me. Give me the option to keep it. But if it's a movie that, like we really want to watch and it would have cost me $20 minimum to go to the theater anyways, I can justify that to rent it. If I really want to see it.
Is a sweet spot. $30 for Mulan on Disney.
Okay, I fought with people on Facebook about this. It's fucking extortion. It's price gouging.
Yeah.
Not only, it's not just but it's not $30. It's $38 because you got to pay that $8 a month subscription. So that's the problem.
Part of the subscription.
The most expensive VOD title was $25, and that was another Disney title. I can't remember which one. Then they said, screw it, And here's the thing. People want to argue, well, they lost a lot of money not with Disney World and with not having... That's not my problem. Disney is a monopoly. Disney has bought up so much properties with their fucking greed. I'm supposed to feel bad that the multi-billion-dollar corporation lost $8 billion? I don't feel bad. And I'm not going to pay your $30 fucking price tag to pay your rent. I don't value, and that's the thing that you kind of touched on, Lewis, with the VOD and the lower budget titles overall. This is showing you how valueless Hollywood is. This is showing you the ideas of the Jim Carreys and the George Clooney's who make $25 million a movie. The Rock is lucky. But this is going to show you that those guys don't exist anymore, and they're going to get phased out. Because when you can make 15 times the profit on a $7 million movie, why would you do a $200 million budget? You want me to be sad for Disney when whatever the budget the Marvel fucking movies have, you still can't get the CG right? But I'm supposed to go spend $40 on movie tickets to go watch it in IMAX and D-Box and all that I'm sorry, but no. I don't care how much money you lost this year. Fuck you and your overpriced movie. And people, well, if you were to take your family, I don't give a shit. I can't take my family. You want to know why? Because they're closed. And by the way, theaters provide extra value, as we talked before. Theaters are still an experience. Theaters, not everybody can afford a surround sound and a nice fucking TV. So theaters, once again, you're not just paying to watch a movie. You're paying to watch a movie on premium gear with premium sound with a place that has the rent and the overhead and the lights and all the electricity and the bathrooms, all of that paid for. That's what you're paying for in your ticket price. So if I don't, I'm not going to do that. There's no value in a $30 rental to me. Not to mention a $30 rental that if you can keep on your list, unless you get rid of Disney Plus, then you'll never see it again. You don't own it, you rented it.
That's why I think for premium VOD, $20 is the sweet spot. I mean, when you get into lower budget movies like this, it really should be a little less, but $20 for a blockbuster movie.
I mean, here, and the other thing is, I was also kind of as I'm watching the movie, when Adrian's finally in the movie, part of me is why can't he just be the actor from The Boys who plays the ocean guy? Wouldn't that guy have been so much better in the movie? than the Deep, yeah. What if the guy who plays the Deep played Adrian in this movie? I'd have liked it so much more just for that. No shit.
That guy is such a fucking tool.
He would have given it character just by that.
Yeah, I agree. The Deep is such a fucking tool.
Exactly. and here's the thing. Even if the character still was written the same way it's written, you would have at least been oh, that guy's the Deep in The Boys. Man, he was a dick in that movie. Subconsciously, you would have carried over that connection to the character.
You would have cared. Yeah.
All right, guys, and we're back. And after talking about Matt's favorite movie of the year, The Invisible Man, we decided, since we are going to be entering into the Halloween season, for this week, we're going to start off with a top 15 Halloween-themed movies to watch for this October. This list is brought to you by Den of Geek. Here at the Nerditude Movie Podcast, we're notorious for choosing lists that are not great. So, cut us some slack if this one sucks.
This list sponsored by mediocrity.
Yeah. So,
Halloween.
like I said, top 15 movies, or just 15 movies rather. They're not essentially in any order. But
order.
to start off the list, we have the classic 1978 film Halloween. So this movie holds a special place in my heart. I've watched this movie constantly on my rotation. I'm a fan of every iteration of it. I mean, what do you guys think? First thoughts of first time you've seen this movie, anything that sticks out to you?
For me, just that scene right there. He's breaking into a fucking closet. That would scare the shit the fuck out of me.
I thought you were gonna be like, I've broken into so many closets, and let me tell you, it ain't easy.
No. anybody who pops their head in my closet, man, holy fucking.
Yeah, anybody who pops their head in my closet is gonna get a good jerkin. I mean, fight.
I've watched a couple of originals with my kids, and this one I'm looking forward to blessing my kids, and I want to try again and see what happens. What?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm saying I want to try to introduce this scene to my kids. We'll see what happens. So what do you think is going to happen?
I'm hoping to get my wife to watch it. We'll see.
All right, cool.
She's not a big fan of the '80s ones. They scare her for some reason. I don't know. I just kind of like, why is William Shatner so mad? But I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm actually excited. We're gonna watch it for the first week of October. It's one of the 3 movies. So, yeah, I don't have a ton to say. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can. I have a endless list of facts about this movie, but I will save it. It's just a great film. So jumping to our second one, and if you do not like this, listener, I will fight you. Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. This came out in 1982. This is not really associated with the Michael Myers films. However, it is technically part of the Halloween canon. What are your guys' thoughts on this film, Matt?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a huge fan of the '80s sequels of any of these movies. Like, I was always a Friday the 13th guy, but even those, when the censorship really started to hit, there's a certain degree where even those got kind of fucked with. I remember it being a weird one. I remember when I saw it when I was younger, I was disappointed it didn't have anything to do with Michael Myers. Like, I was one of those kids like, what the fuck? Like, where's Michael? But it's okay in its own regard. You really have to, if you dig this one though, you really have to dig the cheesy horror, like the kind of campy horror.
Are you telling me a piece of Stonehenge making the kids' heads implode doesn't do it for you?
It incites a laugh, but there's nothing about horror. No.
Was this the one about the oh my god, what is it called?
Silver Shamrock?
Silver Shamrock, yeah.
Yeah.
The third episode.
Yeah, this movie, the Silver Shamrock jingle will make you punch a hole through drywall. But it's a great film.
It's better than Texas Chainsaw 2.
Oh, that's a good movie.
And 3 for that matter.
I love terrible, trashy horror films so much. But anyone else? Any other thoughts on Season of the Witch?
No, negative.
I'll have to check it out again. I remember not hating it, but I haven't seen it in a long time, to be honest. Oh, great.
All right, number 3 on this list came out in 1993. Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Disney comedy film, I believe. You have Sarah
Matt
Horseface, Jessica Parker. Yep.
Hey, to be fair, this is the one movie role Sarah Jessica Parker's in where she's attractive.
Yeah, and then you have Bette Midler and whatever that fat chick is that rides the vacuum cleaner.
Is that the same girl from My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Was she in that movie?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good film. It's on our classic rotation every year. We watch this a couple times. I grew up watching this film.
See, I didn't grow up with cable, right? So, movies like Halloween Town and like this didn't exist to me. I watched like hardcore movies, okay? I was the Freddy Kruegers, the Hellraiser. This movie I didn't watch until I met my wife. And we watch it every year during Halloween because it's one of her favorite movies.
That was because you rented your own movies or you watched your own movies, but you
never
never delved into anything else after that.
Without going too deep into it, my dad wasn't a big fan of like the movies about witches and shit.
Yeah.
So they never brought it to us, but that was the weird thing is like it was a mix of like I liked Power Rangers, but I also liked Terminator 2. I didn't really ever.
I know you like Power Rangers.
Like,
I remember that.
I didn't really ever have the in between where it was like, oh, this is a fun kiddie Halloween movie. Like I liked the Halloween episodes of like the shows we used to watch, like Home Improvement and all that sort of shit. The stuff like that. But yeah, I never watched a lot of these until I was an adult, and then when I met my wife, and she's like, "You've never seen Halloween Town?" And I had to watch both of them, and I'm gonna have to watch this in the next like 2 weeks because she wants to. Because Disney Plus has it in 4K.
But didn't she also ask for us to review this movie?
Yeah, and it ain't gonna be in my fucking grab bag for week 5. So.
Oh, your wife asked.
Yeah, I'll just do a solo review of it where I tear it down and I record it for her.
How
and
does
I'm
it go?
like, this is for you.
Is it Happy Life?
Whoever wrote that wasn't actually married. Whoever wrote that was like, I'm going to give advice to assholes, and they're going to believe me. Please go on. I know this is a favorite.
we have to save it. We have to save them. Go on.
I know we can stay talking about Hocus Pocus for the rest of the night.
I like the next one.
All right, so next one, Trick or Treat. This came out in 2007 by Mike Daughtry. He also did the awesome Krampus movie. He also did Godzilla King of the Monsters as well, ironically.
I love the picture. I love the picture they show for this.
Yeah, so this is
those kids in the school bus. Awesome.
They're the vintage Halloween costumes. Yeah, so this is a horror anthology starring Sookie Stackhouse from True Blood, Anna Paquin.
Man, I don't know. There was like Anna Paquin when I was younger was like, oh, it's Rogue, he. And then you see her in True Blood, and it's like, Rogue's naked? What?
Suki.
Like, it was almost like I was like, she was, I don't know, like, Anna Paquin was like, kind of, you had that, like, because we were around the same age, you have that little crush on her. And then you're like, Jesus, what the HBO's done to her? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, this is just a good classic film. This film was in development hell for so long, and then it just got shoved out on a DVD. It's got a huge cult following. If you haven't seen it or Krampus, I would recommend watching them both. Any other thoughts on this movie, guys?
Looking forward to watching it this Halloween, to be honest. This Shocktober.
Movie was a great fucking movie, and yes, I want to watch it again.
All right, so jumping on, we have another classic 1988, Night of the Demons, which spawned a film series. The first one is probably the best. This movie scared the shit out of me when I was little.
I personally love this movie.
I like this one, yeah. It's just weird how, like, if you look at how vampires movies have changed throughout, like, the years. Like, the 80s with the Lost Boys, it's just like, we're glampires. And then that changed, and you had Interview with a Vampire, Blade, John Carpenter's that made vampires legitimately scary and violent, and then it went back to fucking Twilight. Like I don't know what happened. Like we fell off the fucking scale somewhere.
That was this whole movie in a fucking big bundle, right?
I'm not familiar with that word.
You just described everything in this movie.
Yeah, I like this one. I mean, it's better than Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, but you described everything you said in this fucking movie.
Still
Although
makes
if I
me
had to-
shudder.
If I had to choose Glampires, it would be The Lost Boys, never Twilight.
Yeah, and this too over, way over Twilight. Twilight's, yeah, I don't know what that is. That's like, I always like the meme where it's the two main, the Tom, or whatever the main guy's name, and the girl, Kristen Stewart, and Blade standing behind them. Like, I always find that meme fucking hilarious. Sorry, go on.
Alright, so jumping on to the next one. This is comedy horror. Idle Hands came out in 1999. I have not seen this movie in a long time, and it being on this list, I really want to rewatch it.
I can't remember the last time. I remember Seth Green gets his hand ripped off.
Yeah, there was a lot of gratuitous scenes, boobs or whatever you want to call it. That's all I can remember about this fucking movie, dude.
gratuitous boobs.
It's all I can remember about this movie.
Alex is a half hour away from just being like, boobs and vagine.
Well,
That's what I like in movies, boobs and vagine. Let me see your bubs.
No, but see, the thing is, this movie was actually good, but it's all about fucking boobs and fucking, whatever.
You're just
You
describing a
have-
Jason movie.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of this, I mean, the really crazy part, and one of the reasons why 70s horror movies I'm really hit or miss on is every fucking 70s horror movie had a rape scene. And I'm not a big fan of, like, rape scenes. And, like, there was, like, they sat around the director's table and was like, we're agreed? Rape scenes? All of us? Oh, your movie's about a rape scene. Gotcha. Great. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the ratings weren't as harsh back then, too.
Well, I mean, you had you had Cannibal Holocaust, which changed all that because it freaked everybody out and people thought it was real. So then they started actually rating shit properly, or well rating things. I don't know. I haven't seen this movie in a while. I remember it being goofy. This seems like a movie that you would take, like, somebody out on a date to.
Yeah. And how do you take it serious?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would classify it as horror. I mean, or I don't even know if I would classify it as a Halloween movie. Like, is the thing,
It was definitely not horror.
Anyways, we can move on to the next one.
All right. Jumping on to the next one is a movie called Ghostwatch from 1992. I have not seen this film.
I am immediately intrigued reading the description, though. I'm going to be honest with you.
Now I want to see it. Ghostwatch.
So the description, real quick, is it's not really a film, but Ghostwatch is brilliant and totally appropriate creepy Halloween viewing, although it purports to be live broadcast from a haunted house and BBC studios. Ghostwatch was originally shown on October 31st, 1992. Should have tipped people off that it maybe wasn't entirely serious, but lots of people really believed it, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's your found footage, one of the, kind of like that type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm intrigued by that. I'm going to check that out.
But does Lance Preston make an appearance and say that he's here to
lose you?
God damn it, that was a Grave Encounters reference. No one got it.
I got it.
Moving on.
Technically, it's a Grave Encounters 2 reference, but I got it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Which they are making another sequel to that.
I'll watch that. I actually like those movies.
All right, so next up on our list is Casper from 1995. Now, I will say Den of Geek, which is the site that we got this list from, chose a very odd picture for Casper.
Of her, yeah.
They didn't choose Casper. They chose a very weird picture of a girl.
Screaming.
Looks a little inappropriate.
She's moisturized in the face for some reason. I don't know why. She's greasy looking.
You
Really?
had pointed out a couple weeks back that this movie had a cameo from Dan Aykroyd, which I totally forgot about.
And it's the only cameo any Ghostbusters character has done in Ghostbusters as the Ghostbusters character, yeah.
Which means it's canon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so technically Casper and Ghostbusters live in the same universe. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. This
connected.
This,
Connected.
All right, good. Connect it. Because that picture doesn't connect it. Go ahead.
This is kind of weird because I can date when I started liking girls, and I guess it's 1995 because I had the biggest fucking crush on Christina Ricci in this movie. Like, I don't think if you were a young boy and if you didn't have a Christina Ricci crush, I don't know, man.
Yeah. You're right, 100%.
And then I saw Black Snake moan.
It's still not.
Anyways, I don't know. I remember loving this movie as a kid. I own it on Blu-ray. I watch it every now and then with the wife during the October month. I enjoy it.
It's a great film. It makes you think about how Casper's, what are they, uncles or cousins or whatever? They're such fucking pieces of
Uncles.
shit.
Then you got Captain Lone Star in it, or the President, whichever way you want to refer to him, Mr. Bill Pullman. He plays the father. And then there's that part where he gets like drunk and taken over by the guy. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie soon, I think.
Any other thoughts, Alex, on Casper?
I have no idea what the hell's going on right now. So no.
Okay. All right. Trains moving. Next up is a very low budget indie film called Satan's Little Helper. This came out in 2005. If you have not seen this movie, you are missing
lost
out.
in a world.
It's a great film. Very low budget. Very odd.
funny.
Yeah, but it's a weird funny though.
Yes, exactly. But it is a very good funny though.
Because there's some legitimate creepy scenes in it too. Like,
yes.
That's the weird thing about this movie is it's funny in the concept of like this little boy's kind of roaming around with Satan, but some of the shit that goes on in the movie is pretty.
If you can get around the humor, it makes fun of everything.
I like this movie. I remember when I saw this.
I really enjoyed this movie.
I don't think I was working at Blockbuster yet. I think this is when like we had the movie pass or something, and we were just renting everything. And I grabbed it one day. And I think I watched this by myself in my room in like pitch black at like midnight because my.
I pushed this movie to as many people as I could because people hated me when I worked at Blockbuster.
On to the next one.
Yep.
All right. So this is where this list takes a little bit of a nosedive, in my opinion. So Donnie Darko came out in 2001. This movie is great. However,
is it? Is it great?
It doesn't.
I wouldn't push this on everybody.
So it doesn't invoke the Halloween spirit for me, and also it's fucking overrated.
Yes.
It
highly overrated.
It has become overrated. Yes.
Like the whole movie's pointless.
Now, when I was younger, it wasn't overrated, but now that you guys are looking at it, it is very overrated.
It was overrated. You guys were just dumber back then.
No. When I was younger, it wasn't overrated. Now it is very overrated.
I mean, I don't think the movie's changed in 20 years.
It hasn't. But the people's thoughts about things and how they change, how it's supposed to be.
This movie was Hollywood's idea of abstract, and I'm sorry, but like, none of it made sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. I'm with Lewis on this, and I find it to be one of the most overrated movies ever.
So we will chug along.
Yeah, chug along.
Next one is The Crow, 1994.
I really like this movie.
I like it, but I also have my own reservations about it. It is overrated, but I do love the movie.
I was never a big fan of The Crow. I can appreciate it. It is a cool movie.
It's a great movie.
I really like the villain, the actor who plays him. I don't remember his name, but he's got that like sultry, I'm the devil type voice.
I just think that everybody makes so much. Everybody talks about it because of how he died during the filming of it. He did a lot more. Aside from him just.
See, unfortunately though, he didn't do a lot more movies before this. He's like one of my favorite movies he's in is Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yeah.
But he had that before this, and he had like Rapid Fire. Like he didn't have a huge Hollywood career to be able to say, here's all these great works he's done. Let's not only. So that's the problem is he would have been. I mean, at this point, he may have been Neo if he survived.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. He already knew martial arts. He 4 years later when they filmed The Matrix, you mean to tell me if he were alive at that point, he wouldn't have been up for the role of Neo? Come on.
Realistically, he probably would have died of a drug overdose, but it would have been cool to see him.
I like the movie. I think it's perfect for a Halloween movie because it's really fucking dark and it's literally set on Devil's Night. So it's set on. Not only is it set on Devil's Night, it's set on Devil's Night twice.
Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk after this. Next one, please.
Right, so, next one, Nightmare Before Christmas, came out in 1993. A lot of people ask the question, Halloween. Is this a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? I think the answer is I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I watch it for both.
It could be watched on both.
Hey, I have a question for you.
I watch it 2 separate months apart. I don't care.
Do you like this or do you like Lock, Shock, and Barrel?
Wait, what?
I said this is a question for you. No, I said this is a question for you. Do you like this movie or do you like Lock, Shock, and Barrel?
So do you actually like the movie or do you just like the character?
Or do you like the characters?
Well, no, I like the movie.
Yeah, okay.
If you actually want to hear a good cover of This Is Halloween, look up on Spotify or wherever you get your shit from. It's Leo, L-E-O. He has a cover of this. He does metal covers for a lot of stuff, but he's got a pretty good cover of This Is Halloween.
That's one of the guys you were telling me about, so check it out.
I mean, it's a classic movie. You can't go wrong with Nightmare Before Christmas. I almost said Nightmare on Elm Street. You can't go wrong with that either.
No, not the original.
I will say before we finish this list, I'm surprised there's not more old school slashers on here.
Don't worry, number 1 is already pissing me off.
Oh God! All right, so we'll jump to number the next one, which is May, which came out in 2002.
I actually like this one. I saw this.
This movie is fucking weird, and it's not bad, but it is one of those movies where the last moments of the movie literally justify the entire film. I'm gonna spoil it for you.
You mean like The Invisible Man?
Really?
No, even different. So the whole movie is about her basically not being able to make friends. So she goes around killing people and stealing their body parts to put together her friend. So the whole movie goes on, and she's finally built this meat puppet, and she lays down on the bed and tries to defib it to get it to come to life, and nothing happens, right? So the last frames of the movie are she lays down next to it, and she's just like all defeated, and the goddamn arm out of nowhere puts itself over her to hug her and cuddle her of this life form that she just put together.
Tell her she loves her?
Yeah, and they don't explain whether or not it's in her head or if it's real, but literally the last shots of the movie are her being defeated, that her meat creature's not alive, and then the arm that she's put together just kind of lays on top of her like, it's okay. It's the weirdest ending ever, but it's an alright movie.
I'm going to start referring to people as my meat creatures.
I am...
Okay.
I can't even do it. Fucking Fifth Element.
All right.
All right, so jumping to number 1, I hate this movie. Ginger Snaps came out in 2000.
You hate this movie?
It's terrible.
I hate this movie.
You know what? It's for the time, for the year 2000. It was the perfect movie.
I'd rather watch Werewolf in Paris, the remake, than this fucking movie.
Now the sequels after this fucking sucked, but Ginger Snaps was pretty good.
I would rather watch Leprechaun in Space twice than watch.
Then we should do it. We should do it.
I'd rather watch The Shed and Invisible Man back to back and watch this fucking movie.
Then let's do it.
All right, you guys want to get real pissed off and finish this list with one last movie?
Oh, there's one more?
There is.
Oh, fuck,
it's the classic Halloween movie. Came out in 2004. It just strikes Halloween when you say its name. Mean Girls.
I'm going to quote my wife on this.
No.
There's literally one scene set in Halloween. There's also a scene set during Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie as well?
Yes.
End quote. No, it's not. This is a stupid movie to have on this list. This list was written by people that like don't have. I mean, there's a couple okay titles,
I'm
but
fucking with you, right? You know I'm fucking with you, right?
I don't get this. There's literally one Halloween scene.
So Matt, you're criticizing who wrote this list, and I'm gonna tell you, damn it, who wrote this list. Her name was Sarah Dobbs. She's at Sarah Dobbs on Twitter. Sarah is a freelance writer and editor. She loves horror movies, unusual storytelling techniques, and smoking jackets. She smokes jackets.
She
ask
smokes
her about
jackets.
Saw
Holy
movies.
shit!
Go on, ask.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and give my take on the writer.
Go and ask.
I don't think she knows shit about horror movies. The fact that you put Mean Girls in a Halloween selection tells me you don't know shit about horror movies. In fact, I'm pretty sure the author of this list did nothing more than Google Halloween movies and compile a list. I think I think the fact that Mean Girls is in here really solidifies the fact that whoever made the list really doesn't know shit about anything. And the next list she should write should be best school bully movies. I don't know, because maybe you can throw in some actual Halloween movies in that one instead of this fucking movie in this list. Stupid. Freelance writer. Freelance writer means unemployed bum. Unless they pick up your article. Fuck out of here. Den of bullshit.
You guys really didn't like Ginger Snaps?
No.
Hated snaps.
Really? Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, you need to understand that was one of those B movies that you liked, but it's not good.
Yeah, it was a B movie that was hilarious.
It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be hilarious. That's the problem.
But you liked May. Okay.
I didn't say I liked May. I said it was okay.
Damn it, man. I tried to Google Ginger Snaps to look up the cast, and it brought up fucking cookie recipes.
Better than porn. Alex is like, I can't believe you didn't like Ginger Snaps, you piece of shit.
No. All right. So let's talk about Halloween season.
All right, yeah. So going forward,
we got an exciting next 5 episodes. That's for sure.
All right, guys, and that brings us to the end of this week's episode. However, going into the holiday season, we are going to be doing triple features for each week. That's 5 episodes, 5 weeks in October. So we do have some themes to go along with each week. First week, we're going to be doing classics. Second week, remakes. Third, anthologies. Fourth week, we're going to be doing some B-list cheesy horror films. And the fifth week, we are going to be doing a grab bag of movies that we just love or choose or just really want to talk about. So I will give our movies for the next week. The triple feature we're doing is the original Halloween, The Shining,
excited for that one.
and Nightmare on Elm Street. So definitely stick around for that. And as for the grab bag, you'll just kind of have to tune in and listen as we get closer to Halloween.
Yeah, we don't even know. That's the dead honest
Yeah,
truth.
we don't know yet, but we hope you guys stick with us.
Hopefully we'll figure something out.
We are excited to talk about horror movies.
October's going to be so much fun, it's going to cause anal leakage.
Did you say anal leakage?
Anal leakage, yes. So exciting it causes anal leakage.
Holy shit. All right, cool.
And if you are watching on the YouTube channel and you want to throw in a movie that you think we should review for the grab bag, definitely let us know.
Do it fast.
But yeah, we are excited for the Halloween season, and we can't wait to review some cool movies for you guys.
This is Halloween.
It's going to be a good month of October. All right, so let's. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we do look forward to seeing you guys next week and all through October. Yeah, so you guys have a wonderful day.
Have a good night.
Yes. See you guys next week.
Take care.
Okay, Alex. The audio listeners don't know what they can't see, so it's just like they just figure you're just like left the room. They're like, "Oh fuck this shit." Like,
that's why I said have a good night. Take care.
I know, but before you said it, I was like, "Please say something," because they're just gonna be like, "He peaced out. He doesn't care."